Hasta la vista, baby.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Oh boy, that shouldn't be there. But that's alright, because we're going to go to this area. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The gremlins are out already on this Thursday night. And if it's not pouring rain where you are, that's alright. It's pouring down buckets loads here for all of us. Tonight, we have our 4 games, that's right, our 4 rounds of games, in which you case can take place in our last one. But of course, I know nothing here, and I need people to help me through this. So please join me in thanking and welcoming our 2 guests. Woody's here, and Michael Gosden. Hello, guys, how you going?
Right, how you doing, man?
Yes!
Hey.
Fantastic. We got the rain out for you, and so we hope that it's, at least cleansing the palate out there. How are you guys tonight?
Fantastic. Dancing through the rain, waiting to have a look at this.
Oh, fantastic.
What about you, guys?
Yes. What about you, Michael?
I am doing well. I think that the rain is doing what it does to a city. It's clearing the smog in my mind to be able to help us for tonight. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. I was quite excited when I was in Paris. Not only because I woke up and was like, I'm in Paris, but what they do is, I don't know if it's every 1 month or every week or whatever, they flood the sewers, or at least they flood water out of certain mains to clean the streets, sort of the same way we use street sweepers and things like that. So it was amazing to walk out into the streets, and it wasn't raining yet; it was all pouring down, like the little gutters, almost like
It's
10
so
pinball.
French.
It is.
It's so French to feel like it needs to just send it down to someone else. It's
Yeah.
not our problem. Look, we're perfect.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly.
Hello to France if you're out there.
Yeah. Speaking of some fun, fantastic things, I do know that you have a film that's around and about there, Mick, which I'm just trying to pull up now. It's at the Monster Fest. That's right, the film
Yeah.
Stick. Would you like to tell our guests a little bit about that, our audience out there a little bit about it?
Stick is a funny little mixed genre film that was written by a good friend called Will Hickey. And it's an amalgamation of like a drama, trying to get in some comedy while having the influence of a supernatural bushwalking stick. And the best way I can describe it is imagine Jaws, but take the shark out and put in a stick. And that's what we've done in 17 minutes. And yeah, it's a bit of a wonderful, wild ride about paranoia. It's got a beautiful composition done by a friend of mine called James Yeremayev. Incredible acting, and yeah, we're very, very happy to have it at Monster Fest. And if you're in Melbourne, you have a chance, once, celebrate awesome horror films that are happening at Nova, but 2, go along and see this film, which is just a whole bunch of people trying to make a walking stick, as scary as possible. So
Awesome.
yeah, we're pretty pumped with this one.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. And again, I've just pulled up the link that we also have down in the description so that you guys can check it out as well if you are in Melbourne. There's a session time at 6:30 on Thursday at the 9th of December. So at the Cinema Nova at Melbourne. So yeah, grab it out there as well.
Get it.
Very, very cool. Get it amongst it. That sounds really, really cool as well. The concept of taking the sort of film idea that everyone knows, and that concept of what was it? One of our questions we had was when how far into the film does it take you to see the full body of Jaws in the film? I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that into it. It was far into the film. So you're playing with that concept of anticipation and like, you know. It's great too that you're making it out of something that, you know, is so iconic as well with Australia. I mean, we're walking everywhere because of the vast land, you know, and everything. So yeah.
So the idea of like, can you turn an inanimate object into something that's quite fearful for most people?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the core of it. And it's like the way it began for Will was that he was doing a bushwalk, as you're talking about, and he thought he kept on seeing the same stick, and then he started thinking about what would happen if this stick was following him. And as soon as he started telling me that, I started seeing the same car everywhere. I started seeing the same, you know, people in the same jackets. Those kind of things are really playing in my mind. And yeah, I hope that people can kind of feel the fun of this wacky little psychological horror that we've got going on.
Yeah, totally. Well, even when you're saying about that, I know that the doppelganger effect is like, you know, once you mention or tell someone about that, they'll end up seeing it, like, you know, everywhere, or they'll be more noticeable of that sort of thing. But even in a bushwalking sense, like, you know, trying to, you know, orientate yourself on an Australian bushwalk, I think is one of the most difficult things ever, because as you say, you'll see a rock or a tree that looks identical to one that you saw before. And so, yeah. I was going on a bushwalk recently, actually, out near, have you ever been to the Carryong Glyphs? Where in that area, up on the hill, there's a lot of like markers where people have gone on bushwalks, and you don't want to sort of like wander off in that area because it's right on the edge of a cliff. But there are some beautiful indigenous rock carvings, I think, around there, and rock paintings. Maybe not rock carvings. They might just be the grooves of sharpening or making like a food preparation there. But I do know that, yeah, the cave paintings are around there, and they're amazing to see there. Awesome, fantastic. So yeah, some uniquely Australian things too, which I think a lot of people like seeing too. So speaking of unique Australian, Woody's here, and he's brought his fantastic facial hair. Now you both have fantastic facial hair, but Woody, you're an actor yourself.
When I choose to be, yeah.
Yes, always acting up, as it was.
Part of life, isn't it? Just breathing.
Yes, exactly. So we would have seen you around on different commercials and things like that. I know we worked on a commercial recently. It was a lot of fun. I say recently, but I try not to classify anything that was in the sort of lockdown period as, like, you know, real sort of life-taking place. There was a period, I think, in what was it, the Dark Ages, where we lost a couple of 100 years. So a lot of people don't mention that when we're talking about history. But I feel like that, you know, in that concept. It's only yesterday that I've seen you. So, yeah, looking forward to some fun tonight. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Honestly, sitting down, using the imagination, starting to get some stuff together, creating little ideas, and going, having some discussions, and trying to push on some personal projects at the moment. As well as obviously going to work and do what you got to do, and happily annoying people daily, because I get that fun out of that.
Yes.
Except gaming. Always gaming.
Oh, fantastic. Do you have any favourite games? Because that's a segue that I'm always trying to bring in. Yeah?
Seriously, one game I cannot stop playing. There's been a lot of hate for a while. I honestly don't care. It's Far Cry 5. I've finished it a couple of times. I'm now playing it on the hardest physical setting. It's just something about the whole Montana landscape, the different indoctrination tactics of cults, and happily walking through and executing everyone and getting my towns back. So that's fun.
Yes. Yeah. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was either 3 or 4 where you were on that sort of Thai island, and there was like elephants that you could send in through the camps and stuff like that, and they just clear people out.
Yeah, it sounds like number 4, yeah.
Yeah. But I love it because they always have such good villains, and that's so important in any kind of media, making sure that the villain is someone who is at least interesting.
Yeah.
And
Or
something.
even if they walk into the screen, you look at them and go, yeah, that's the person I don't want to be near, and then quickly walk out.
Yes, that's it. That's it exactly.
Yeah.
And even like there's certain films which I'm struggling to try and bring to mind at the moment, but where the characters are quite evil, but you can see why they're justified in their motivations. I don't know why. It's not necessarily the. Sorry.
I can name one straight away. Pinhead from Hellraiser. He's got
Yes.
purpose. It's a total purpose, and it's to give everyone their ultimate release. And that's, however you take that. But you can even see it. His demeanor's calm. He knows what you're after and gets it done.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite villains too. Like, because another game that I like playing is, was it? Is it Left 4 Dead? Help me out in the comments at home. The one that I sucked at when you saw me playing the nurse. The one where you got to restart generators as a survivor, or you can play as the bad guy who's running around with a chainsaw killing them. And one of the new characters they have is Pinhead. So one of the obstacles you run around and you got to solve the lament configuration. I'm not too sure if it's to ward them away or something like that. Dead by Daylight. Thank you, Gulfins. Yes. Awesome. And I should mention our fantastic people out there in the chat. We have Gulfine saying, greetings all. Myth Max saying, good evening. Rhiannon Elizabeth Iron saying, good evening, lovelies. Richard, I got your Tarzan call. It sounded urgent, so I came as quickly as I could. Phrasing. We got K9 saying, hello all. We got Gulfines asking Rhiannon a question, so I'll leave that to there. I love it how you're using the chat thing. The camaraderie between you guys out there in the chat is beautiful and lovely to see. Mwah, chef's kiss. And Gulfines as well saying, we love Far Cry 5. So there you go. We've already got some love for Far Cry 5. And
Loving it.
Sorry?
Loving it, mate. Loving it.
Exactly.
Can I say, do you like Far Cry 5 because you are probably one of the most iconic characters in it, Woody?
No, what I've really
You're
enjoyed
definitely in the background.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You're definitely in the background. Like, I'm sure I've attacked you multiple times. Your look, your aesthetic. I've seen you many times.
You're saying he looks like an NPC.
Exactly
what
I'm saying.
I'm honest about it, because I have dived so far into Far Cry 5. I listened to the cult choir music. I went, you know what? Let's start looking like it. Let's start being it.
Nice.
It's an interesting feel when you go out into public and everyone takes 3 steps backwards. You're like, don't worry, I'm not a Peggy. I'm one of you.
No.
Yeah, I've probably been shot a million times in real life, verbally.
Yeah. No, I'm just struggling to not hear the Lumberjack song slowly increasing with you wearing that shirt. That's all.
Hey, I love the flannel, mate. It's always about the flannel.
No, that's it, yeah. And again, another uniquely Australian thing, too. And I always try and sneak in a Monty Python reference wherever I can. Gulfines is also adding in that Far Cry 6 is pretty entertaining, too. I don't know how I've seen that one there.
It is solid. Give it a hot hit if you haven't. Just play it. Just enjoy it. It's just such a unique story to itself. It always is.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
We've also got Myth Max, ironically bringing up one of his favorite video games, or at least a shout out that he wants to make is Max Payne, the video games. And ignore the movie adaptations. I haven't seen any of the movie adaptations, but the bullet time was fun. Yeah. Exactly. And Gulfine's asking for permission to get free reign in a laboratory, and they'll create some bliss. Jules from Gulfines. Awesome. I love it how you put the little citation.
I'm going to Faith immediately. I will go to the Eden. I'll go to the garden, and Faith and I will just stay together. Create that bliss. Please do it. Please, please, please.
Yes. We all want bliss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I should say, speaking of bliss as well, we have our sponsor for our 4th round as well. All of you out there are competing for tonight at Neon Sign Designs. You get a $30 voucher again for that website, so you can get a sign very similar to this. This is from One Neon, but it's very similar to it. Little LED lights that made in whatever sort of text you want to put in there, and they have multiple different fonts and stuff like that too. Who knows, you might be able to get your even logo or an image that you like put up onto them. Have a chat to them and see what they can do for you. So I want to give them a shout out just quickly whilst we're all having a banter there. Cool there. Awesome. Fantastic. So Good stuff. Just before we do go into it, we'll have a little bit more of a banter, but I did want to bring up our prize wheel as well. Our Wheel of Fortunes, which each week we play. So we have a whole bunch of games out there, which are some familiars that hopefully the people out there will like to see. We have Brittany, the Toxic Avenger. We have, of course, Bankrupt. We have Spin Again, which is my personal favorite. Player's Choice, where you guys get to make the choice. We've got Chrono Loco. We've got Never Mind the Spics and Specs. We've got Chicken or Egg. We've got D20. We've got Monster Mashups. And we've got Viewer's Choice, which of course the people at home can choose. Now, even just from me mentioning up those there, do any of those stick out in your brain that you want to necessarily come up to you guests out there? Yeah? Yeah, what do you...
For me, I like just rolling the dice. So obviously the 20. I like chicken or egg.
Nice.
Because I'm one of those people who I could not tell you I'm great at one thing, but then I have so much random stuff that's in my brain that the chicken or egg, it might help me, it might not.
Nice.
So I'd hate to be like, monster, I'm going to crush it, and then you give me a question and I know nothing about it. So I'm just going to be that guy that actually says nothing but keeps talking. So look at me go.
Nice. Yeah, no, I love it. It's exactly like me. The people at home definitely know I love a tangent, and I'll always take the chance to do that. So yeah. What about you, Woody? Do you have a personal favorite just from the glancing?
Honestly, always monsters. Always monsters. As soon as I see monster mashup, I'll fail badly. I don't care. I love monsters.
Exactly. Yes, it's not about the points. Exactly. It's close to whose line is it anyway we can get. Speaking of which, just because you brought that up, Woody, there you go. You got a point already. So fantastic. Yes. So I'm easily bribed, ladies and gentlemen. Compliments will get me, but also deception will take points away. Of course, for the first 3 rounds, the players out there, you viewers, will not be able to accrue any points, but please do help our guests. You can also hinder our guests by typing in what you think is the answer in the chat on the side. But of course, our 4th round, thanks to Neon Sign Designs, you guys will have the chance at competing in that one. So that one is all about you guys, and we'll be trying to help you on. Won't we, guys? Won't we?
Yay!
Yay! Exactly. That commitment to that, was what we were looking for. And of course, we just want to give a shout out to where the people at home can find your stuff. Obviously, I've told you about the link to your Monster Fest film down there, but we can also find you at Sir Chinny, Michael Gosden at Sir Chinny 87 on Instagram, and Woody's here. You can find him on Facebook. Do you have a good old handle? I looked up Woody's here, but I wasn't too sure if it was the same person as you, Woody.
Does it look like the father from Far Cry 5 holding his hands out like that?
Oh, yes, it does.
That's me.
Hey, then yes, it is.
I'm into Far Cry 5.
Perfect. There we go. So yeah, at Woody's here, just like I've written down there, with the apostrophe and all. I wasn't too sure. That's why I'm prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Well, good stuff. Let's have a chat, see what people are saying over in the comments there. We've got... awesome. Phil Robinson wants to see monster mashups or chicken or egg. So many ors in there. We should be on a rowboat. Rianne Elizabeth Irons says, bring on chicken or egg. My ribs haven't, healed enough for her to laugh at that stinger. Awesome, yes. I've fixed up slightly the Brittany the Toxic Avenger stinger, so it moves a little bit quicker, and I think that there's a better song mashup that's in there with, of course, Brittany's Toxic Avenger. What are some other ones? Personally, got to go for Spin Again, a true classic. I do love Spin Again, but I'm always biased to in the spin wheel. I want us to land on Spin Again, but if it's a game choice, I've always got to go for Chrono Loco. It's bias on my end. But of course, you've noticed that there is Bankrupt up there. For our first round, it's going to be either Michael Gosden's go or it's going to be Woody's Here's go. And if it's let Woody's go, we'll be rolling it for you. If you land on Bankrupt, you get 5 points. But unfortunately for the next person, if we land on Bankrupt, then you go back to 0. And D20 also has the ability to get 0 points as well. I'm eager to test it out tonight. I'm sort of going to guess it on my way. So anyone who's been a dungeon master out there, I do apologize. But I'm going to sort of try and crumble it together from another game that I used to play when we did Impromedy. Now, Woody, you're an actor, and I know that Mick, we've played theatre sports at least before, but one of the games I do love is D20, so that's a game that's up there, and that is kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type game, mashed down into as smaller time and scenarios as we can possibly do. There are aspects in it that I want to try and obviously evolve, but it's all down to the roll of a D20 dice. So yeah, you guys might be competing against something spoopy out there. And so I have my Tobin Spirit Guide from Ghostbusters ready and raring to go. And I do have both versions, or at least two versions. There's more than two versions of this. But yeah, you might be facing a beastie that's in the Tobin Spirit Guide for the chance at getting up to maybe 20 points, because I think you start with 25 as your health bar, and then yeah, whatever you get left over if you beat the baddie, then yeah, or it beats you could get 0, who knows. Whoa! But yes, your partner will be there helping you along.
Is this
So
is
you
this
have
like
to bring the Necronomicon with me?
This is the Necronomicon over here. We can also use that, but I thought the beasties might they're harder to contain, so yeah, I want to let you choose, but I want to try maybe with one of the things in lead up to one of the films which is coming out into Australia, I think on the 1st of January. So I want to try and get a ghost at least in that sort of franchise, or a beastie, because yeah, the way I used to play this game was, it was usually at the end of a drama lesson, if we had, like, time to sort of fill in, we'd play D20, and it would start off in the cabin in the woods, and so you would usually go down to the basement, and I wouldn't tell you what's down there, but you would pick up, if you picked up this spherical device and you rotated it, like, and blades came out, then you would conjure that universe's version of the Pinhead character, because in Cabin in the Woods he had these razor blades or something through him.
Yeah.
And again, it's just sort of based on my understanding, trying to fit it into the containers that we're playing. But you also get, I want to make it a wish, because in D&D you can actually get a wish, which means that you can grant anything pretty much. But I'm thinking of just making it that you can start off with a magical ability. So, like, if you want a wand from Harry Potter, then you'll get that. Like, if you want the Elder Wand, a really powerful wand, yeah, you'll get that. But you only get one like that, and it can be destroyed, depending on what the beastie is. Yeah, so it's a lot of those sort of things there. Cool. Before we do roll it as well, we'll let you guys choose what it is. I thought that it was Matthew McConaughey. That's why I thought that wasn't from Far Cry. Your image on Instagram, Woody.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I can totally understand why. I mean, it does look like him. Actually,
yeah.
You should do that.
I'm pretty confident that that's the picture that Matthew McConaughey has for his latest book.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the cover right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the leftist, like, leader president. Like, that's what he's doing. He doesn't want to get elected. He's just going to tell you that, hey, you'd let me be the leader, right? Because
Yeah.
look at my hand. And I'm Matt McConaughey, so look at me go.
I feel like that's almost like he's in a Gordon Ramsay sort of moment where he's got a whole bunch of, like, wilted lettuce in his hands, and he's just, like, smelt it, and he's going up to them saying, "Smell this!" Like, I don't know. He got a very determined face on him. That's just on the other side of my screen there. Cool. So I'll go through it as well. What was it? Brittany the Toxic Avenger is a song that's been mashed up. So there's like 6 different artists that have been mashed up in there. We play the song through, and you then at the end of that tell me the artist that you heard, and I think you get a point for each of those artists. Similar kind of to Nevermind the Spicks and Specks, which is a similar sort of thing, except the songs don't have multiple mashups. They're literally just 2 songs mashed up. So yeah, there's a chance at, like, I think 6 points for each of those for you to play at home. Monster mashups, you guys would have seen it before at home. That's the one where we get a popular movie poster, usually a horror movie poster. In this case, it is the same, and they've been drawn up with different Disney characters by kickpunch.se. That's his website, so you can follow him along there after you see the live stream, of course, because otherwise you'll know what they all are, which is different. I tried to mix it up from last week so that we get a different artist in there. So yeah, and our mashups as well for Brittany the Toxic Avenger are going to be from DJ Cumberbund. I think I put them all in there. I think so. If not, we'll find out. And and I can't remember, and I'll work out the titles for the other ones. For never mind the Spicks and Specks. And of course, chicken or egg is which came first. Literally, you have choice of two, which came first, the chicken or the egg, and they would be relevant to that. So I think you guys might have even seen a sneak peek whilst I was setting up what they are. And what's the one that I didn't say? Of course, Chrono Loco. We have 5 different movie posters up there, and they're out of order at the moment. You've got to put them into order because they're currently Chrono Loco. Good. Ghoulfiends wants to see Brittany the Toxic Avenger. It's mainly the stingers, I think, that they like to see. At least I like to see them too. Just don't speak Latin in front of the books. Richard, yes, no, that's it. It's actually a mixture of Spanish, Latin, and Hindi. At least the 4 columns, the 4 areas that are written down there. This is the 2013 version of Evil Dead. And that is, I think, if you say, what is it? Kanda,
Necktie.
Estrata, Montose, Kanda. Yeah. But nothing's happened bad so far. Like, you know. No, that's not on fire. That's just over there. But yeah, it's all scratched out because I want to try and make that as film replicant as possible. And as well, I don't know if anybody was here early off in the actual segments, but can anyone tell me what this is a little statuette of? And in one of the episodes, I made reference to a film that this was in a painting. Yeah. And so, what's the statue? What's the film or the story that's from? Do either of you guys know?
No. Short answer. No.
No.
Oh.
No.
Is it Egyptian?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yes. So any of you out there might know your Egyptian gods or goddesses. I don't know if they have gender-specific things like that.
I mean, I want to say the mummy.
The mummy?
Do I have to say 1, 2, or 3? Or can I just, like, vaguely say that out there?
You can just say the mummy, as in, well, now I'll get down to it. I'll say the Brendan Fraser one or the Tom Cruise one. Ah. Do you like sound effects or do you want full sound mix?
I want a good time, so, you know, either way.
Yes! Good. Well,
Either way,
Ghoulfiends...
it's like, you know, the blue pill or the red pill. Like, either way, you're having an adventure. You don't know.
Exactly, yeah. Ghoulfiends kind of got it right. It was Bast. Is the little statuette. Yes, a goddess of, or god of fertility. So that was one that you would want around the times when the Nile would flood, because that meant that you were going to get good crops to harvest. What else? What was the film? What was the film or the story that was from? So we know it's a statue of Bast. It has to do. It's a fertility. But with that comes the idea of rebirth. You know, the idea of I guess I want to push you more in a phoenix, I guess, type of realm rather than just something like that. Yes. It's raining in Queensland as well. Fantastic. Good. It's good to see it sharing around in its precipitation. Or for the lovers of Rocky Horror, precipitation. Bow. Good. Which uniquely follows up with maybe the rain. Good. The Pyramid. No, it was Bast. The film was Herd Hatfield was the star of it. It's my personal favourite version of the film, although there is a version of the play being done at Sydney Theatre Company. I think it's in its second season, where they've done a role reversal of the characters. It's been raining for 5 days on the Gold Coast. Wow, you're going to be drenched. It's monsoon season, if like nothing else. Leading into summer, it's always good to get that. So it's a play by, I think it's Oscar Wilde. It was the one book that I remember. I think I borrowed from Newtown High School Performing Arts, and I never returned. All of these are things that really aren't going to help you push into the right area. But no one out there, no Herd Hatfield references. A very young and beautiful Angela Lansbury is in it as well. It's not King of Kings, no. It's black and white. She sings Yellow Bird, I think. Goodbye, little yellow bird. I think that's it. That wasn't a very good interpretation. Last week I did a Gilbert Gottfried, which I'm still reeling from and quite proud of, if I do say so myself. But yeah, you can check that out because it's on YouTube. So no, neither of you, none of those help.
No.
Were you going to say something, Woody?
No, I've got nothing with this. What's going on? What's the
It's an old film, and it also had another. Is it George Sanders? Maybe that's wrong. It's not George Bernard Shaw. Oh, that's a boom. It's the guy who played. No, it's not. I think I got that wrong. Captain J. Smith in a film. I can't remember it. Oscar Wilde. Picture of Dorian Gray. Yes. That's what it was. The Picture of Dorian Gray with Herb Hatfield. So in the book, it's quite important that there is a statue of Bast that is in that. And so that's what is also included into the large full-size painting of Dorian Gray. So, yeah. It looks very cool, and again, that STC version that looks really awesome. Seems like a very minimalist set, but like, vibrant, bright colors. And the story and the world of Dorian Gray as well is something that's really encroaching. I mentioned before something about the neckerchief. That's right. And the transition of when, the toffee dandies and stuff like that. When you had what was it? There was the aristocrats, which you had. People walking around with canes a lot of the time. This is when a transition for swords and dueling really came into ill repute, and so people would hide them and have them as stick swords a lot of the time. But it meant that there was a lot of things going on there, a lot of camp activity, shall we say, or at least was spoken about at the time. Uniquely also, it's the period of time which a lot of the films of Walt Disney are set, the world, I think, of Mary Poppins and Happiest Millionaire and things like that, sort of like an idyllic sort of setting when you had this sort of aristocrat sort of thing going there. That's a really unique thing that has to play with the status as well, peer pressure, dealing with your own psyche as well, because one of the other things is about it that a lot of the lore came into the idea that if Dorian sees the painting, then he reverts to the painting. So the idea is that no matter how evil Dorian Gray is being, the painting changes and looks more gross, and he stays forever young and beautiful. Not necessarily immortal. It's implied, there is a kind of youthful nature to him in the book, but never really how the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen went to it. But that's the reason that I bring this up, because in that film, if he saw the painting, he reverted back to it. But in the film, he has to destroy the painting, and I think in the book he stabs it through the heart, and in a remake he burns it. And I find that so much more interesting from a character perspective, especially from a performance perspective, because there's so many times in the book that he just goes up to his old schoolroom, which is like in his attic, and he stares at the painting for hours because he can see how gross he is and how disgusting he is. And there's another completely interesting story about the artist who made the painting for that version on the film, which is completely unique as well. But the tangent I went off on and I wanted to stop with was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Are either of you familiar with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with Sir Sean Connery?
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome, fantastic. Did you guys have a favorite character from that at all? I know that I personally did. Because we had what were the characters there? We had Mina Harker, who was the wife or the partner of Jonathan Harker, which was from Nosferatu and the Bram Stoker Dracula universe. She was kind of the leader, and it was again a graphic novel, which sort of spurred all of this on. We had this thing before, and I want to say it's Alan Moore. I hope it's right. Please fact check me in the comments there, because I think that he got quite upset with how it was portrayed, because there's a whole bunch of facts, and there's great specials that you can watch about it, but there was a lot of problems on set that they had. So Mina Harker was one of them. We had, what are some of the other characters you can remember? Yes, so we had Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll. Phil Robertson calling out Nemo, not Finding Nemo, but Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which a lot of the time, and which I didn't know until I saw this film representation, was that he is of Indian origin. And that character... is and the Nautilus and that, and so the technology is completely explained why it looks so foreign, and I loved that portrayal so much. And it was also played by a famous actor from that region. I don't want to say exactly where from because I don't want to get it wrong, but I know that I think that they outsourced for that. So yeah,
I always find the character who was the Invisible Man that was in that. I think it was. Tony something. He played that character. I just find the idea of like any person that has the ability to not be seen, but yet still wants to try to make an impact on the world. Like, what is that kind of? Why? Why would they want to do that? I also know that Richard Roxburgh was in that, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was very early on to that. He had like a one-letter name, like
that's right. Yeah.
or something.
That's right, because I was just struggling because I was thinking, was that the when he did Dracula? But it wasn't. That's a different thing. Because yeah, of course he was M at least. Like again,
And
we're always about spoilers, I guess, or at least we always incidentally mention spoilers just because of the tangents that will go on. But there's a lot of unique references in the information that's there, so I do apologize, but warn you in advance. But yeah, it was also quite a demanding role because he had to play so many different characters. But some of the people at home as well have mentioned that Alan Quatermain was a character as well in it, played by the late Sean Connery, and it was also the last role that Sean Connery played on film. Now, the Alan Quatermain character, again, was one that sort of, I didn't know in its significance at the time, but when I saw it, I was like, how cool is this character? A guy who was just like, stay calm and always get his shot. He'll always hit the bullseye. I loved this idea. And that... I guess spoilers. African will never let him die. I love that, like that idea of that sort of universe. But of course, I grew up with the Richard Chamberlain films of King Solomon's Mines, and there was another one, but I remember the Gold City, the Lost City of Gold. I think that was my favorite one because the guy who looked like, in my mind, he always will be Richard Simmons in my mind, the guy who played the king, because he had this massive, crazy afro. But yeah, it's a fun, fantastic film with Richard Chamberlain. Awesome. What about you, Woody? Did you have a favorite character from that?
Let's see. No, I'm still a fan of Nemo, Captain Nemo.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
It's just a solid role. As soon as I saw him, I just went, I like him, and I didn't even flinch. There was something about that character, just the presence, the control, there's just something.
And immense respect.
Yeah.
Just a performer, too, that you can see commands that respect.
But you could see the, you will give me the respect, but it wasn't the arrogant version of you give me the respect.
No.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. As in, I guess you could easily say it could be portrayed that way, but again, when you look at the genius that the character is developing as well. But my favorite is, like, that fight sequence that happens in Dorian's apartment, in the library sort of area. When they say, draw your sword or something like this, and he goes, I walk a different path. And I just love that, and I thought it's such a kick-ass moment. And even though, like, it's not the most plausible choreography or fight, like, let's say that, but so cool. Such a cool moment.
I just I know that they tried to do that. We're talking about the Tom Cruise version of the Mummy and like bringing in Jekyll, and they wanted to make an entire universe out of that, didn't they?
Yeah.
And what they forgot was that all that stuff was like beautifully camp, and that's what made it so interesting. Is like you're talking about the presence of Captain Nemo, and like that you don't earn respect, you just be, and that's like. Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Exactly, because even in that film, they also incorporated Tom Sawyer as because they wanted to have that sort of youth and American character as well in there. I think I could be wrong in saying that, but I know that the youthful aspect was definitely something that they were trying to get the crowds in for it. And I kind of liked how it worked again with the. It wasn't a passing of the torch, but it kind of was, and it was the older Alan Quatermain to the new. Like gun happy, and I thought that really worked in well. But again, the performance, which I think the character of Mina Harker was so strong in the comics, and I haven't read all of the comics, but from my understanding of what her character was, she was a lot more of the leader. She was the one who, it was obvious she was the leader, the one who was not pushing people's buttons, but kind of at points she knew how to do that, and. I also loved the Hulk-esque atmosphere about Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, taking it so that it's like now this gross sort of performance of that I kind of liked. And the ship, if we're going back to Captain Nemo, what is it? The Nautilus, which is the sword of the ocean, and its design, so cool.
Tight.
So tight. Weirds me out though how then they're like, yeah, let's get it driving into Venice. Like, you know, it's built on a marsh, guys. It's like, yeah, apparently that sequence was completely different, and it was reshot a couple of times because, oh, that's right, the set, which was all built up, like, you know, the Venice streets and the buildings, was flooded, I think, and like literally it was like, I think almost one story underwater. Like, it was really water damaged, so they had to kickstart it all again. So a lot of problems from the very beginning, and apparently the director and Sean Connery just didn't get along. So it's always a hard sort of thing. Beautiful. Let's go back to our comments. I'm gonna have to try and pronounce that, Phil Robinson. Nazari Rudin Shah, I'm assuming was the person who played Captain Nemo. Caught myself before I said Finding Nemo. But then, like, threw myself under the bus by saying it. Haha! The graphic novel was fantastic. I agree, K9, it totally was. And The Invisible Man, totally. I loved the portrayal of it was... Oh, the reason as well that they did that, that it was a thief who broke into a scientist's lab and drank the formula that then turned him invisible, was so that they could get around the H.G. Wells rights issue. I don't know if it was the H.G. Wells rights issue, but it might have been Universal or something, as you mentioned before, the Dark Universe, which is being set up. Speaking of which, have you guys seen the new Invisible Man, which has been out by the Australian director?
We have just been talking about this. Like, I don't know if anyone else thinks this way, but my bugaboo with it is, okay, so it's awesome all the way up until she throws paint on him, I think, and then you realize it's a technology thing, which means that there is permission for him to be able to put it on and off. But when you go back to like the Kevin Bacon and like any other version of it back, it's inherently them. And so, like, what does that do for the character to make a choice where they have to actually be it, opposed to like they choose to put it on like a suit?
Yeah.
And that was my issue with it. Like, as soon as I found out it was a suit, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess anyone can do that. And like they're not as fucked up because there's a difference between putting a suit on or drinking the vial that's not being tested. You know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I loved it. I thought it was like objectively like a beautiful film, especially I think it was only made for like $5 million. Like, how well they made that for. Yeah. Well, $5 million US, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, but exactly. Because, again, I loved it how it did take a sort of technological approach, but I completely agree, and I hadn't really thought about it on that level before, about the psychology, because I was even thinking I now want to see a story almost similar to, like, a Spider-Man origin, where it's he takes the outfit off and throws it in the garbage, and then he has to come back and use it for something, like, you know, as in he goes, no, I don't want that, because, as you're saying, you can't cut out the serum that he's drunk or whatever as the Invisible Man. It's this an insanity which you would have to go through because no one can see you, like, you know, or it's involuntary.
And that's totally just like my thought process behind it. Like, I still really enjoyed it. I had a great time, but at the same time, I was like, oh, that was weird. Like, it wasn't awful, but it was just like, oh, interesting choice.
Yeah. Totally, yeah, absolutely. Also, Gulfiend saying, if Tom Cruise wants to take his shirt off in a movie and run for a 2,000-year-old mummy, who is that person to object? Adam from Gulfiends. I love it. You're tagging it all. Sweet. Good. Mythmax says, didn't they want to do a similar thing with Jekyll and Hyde in Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman? I don't know if they did, but maybe, yeah. I kind of liked that film as well, the Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. Had Hugh Jackman, another Australian actor, and David Wenham, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. As well, another underrated actor, I think. Another brilliant performer. But that's another good, fun sort of universe. And Richard Roxburgh was the Dracula in that one, which I think that's what my brain was doing before.
He was. Yeah.
Yes. And Lee, was it Lee Whannell? Yes, did an incredible job as the Invisible Man. Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons follows up with. She did prefer Kevin Bacon in Hollow Man, but that's because it's Kevin Bacon. Exactly.
What's not to love about bacon?
Exactly. So hot he's above 7 degrees. putting the suit on purposely destroys someone is inherently evil. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about when you were saying that, Mick, that it's almost like a weapon or a, like, a vehicle, like, as in using a vehicle as a weapon or something like that, because then you know what you're doing, you're donning that for that purpose. That's one of the things about, like, a lot of the true crime shows and stuff like that, when they're, like, saying, stuff like, he picked up the dagger and he sawed her in half over the entire night as her baby slept, whatever. And I'm always thinking during those moments, what would my brain, I guess it's the actor in me sort of going, at what point would you be going, holy fuck, what am I doing? Yeah, at what point sort of would you be going, pulling back, and I guess
especially in that context.
Yeah.
Because if you were sawing someone in half over an entire night, you're going to get tired. You need to get some water.
That's
You're probably going to go to the bathroom. Like, real human things that you have to do while doing the most crazy shit.
That's it,
Hang on. When you're talking about cutting a body up over a night, are you talking about using a handsaw, or would you do something smart by going to Bunnings, go and get a powered jigsaw, take 20 minutes and cut the corpse up?
Yeah. Well, again, like, that's what all of these questions bring up, and I think most of the time it's I don't want to say incompetent people, but it's people who don't think ahead. A lot of the time will either it's a spur of the moment thing, or it's, if it is planned, it's, as you say, it's completely planned down to the T months before, or whatever like that. But yeah, I always think in that passion moment, let's say, like, they haven't meant to do something, and but they've still put them in a sports bag and dumped the they tried to get away with it, cover their tracks. At what point will you go, oh fuck, I've fucked up, and I want to stop cutting up through, like, the flesh that's, like, constantly looking at me. I don't know. It's a weird sort of thing, but maybe it's the reason that we don't do that is because we've thought somewhat in that sort of altruistic nature of why we wouldn't be put in that situation or put ourselves in that situation. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's too much of a tangent, but it seems like this is a place to go on said tangents.
Yeah.
But the idea of the latest Halloween, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch it, but
I haven't personally, no.
So obviously Jason just going crazy on a town. He's just doing what he does, but there is no like, this is going in the other direction where it's like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, you can make, like, as an audience, you can make up any motivation for this guy because they don't explain, why is he doing this? Like, what's he trying to do? Like, there's all these theories, but they haven't really explained it. And then, like, why does he severely kill all these people, but then arrange their bodies again? And, like, what are these things? And, like, somehow it's premeditated, but then also because of how much is going on. Sorry, it's Michael. Yes, but sorry. Yeah, and so there's this idea of, like, it's premeditated, but then also he still arranges the body, and, like, it's because he was too spontaneous, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have done that so much. I'll put you against the wall here." Like,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I've always, like, I love AI and stories about, like, artificial intelligence, like, Westworld and stuff like this, and glitches in the Matrix, that sort of idea. For some reason, I've always, because I don't really, like, again, a big beastie that's coming up behind you and you can't reason with it. It's just like, and once a year it comes up. I don't know. At least it, plays with your mind psychologically. I always found that they're, like, oh, what was I was going to go on a tangent. God damn it! I can't remember it. That's right. That I've justified it in my way. That it's the like, lore of the spell containing them. So it's either restrictions within what they're trying to do, and the motivation of that spirit is sort of going, oh, it wants to go this way, but it can't. There was a moment in Freddy vs. Jason, I think it was, where there's a water thing coming down in one of the dream sequences that Freddy's got entrapped in, and he's walking forward and he stops, and, like, it's like he didn't see it, but then he only sees it when the force field is there right in front of him. And so I again, it's me justifying it so I can get more out of it, like, but again, like I said, I did it with Ghostbusters 3, 2016. Sorry. I know, right? Yeah. Good. Gulfiends is adding in there some more practical advice about cutting a corpse with a jigsaw takes a little longer than one would anticipate. Not that one would first-hand experience or anything. No, of course not, Jules. And of course, the clarification of Michael Myers, I always call it Mike Myers as well, and want to run up to him and say, "Oh, behave." Good. Apparently, we've just made Gulfiend's list, oh dear. Miffed Max, there's a great sequence at the end of the play, the Lieutenant of Inishmore. Yeah, when two of the main characters are cutting up bodies, and I think there's a line in there about how hard it is. Yeah, obsessive window dresser, part-time killer, our Michael Myers. Yeah, yeah. No, well that's it. Like the whole, like pigs. Like there's a lot of different ways. Like and if you really look into it, you'll end up on lists on with the FBI looking after you. I'm sure.
Oh, that means I can actually be on a list finally.
Yes, you'll get a callback, just not the callback you want.
Dad, got some good news. I've finally made it onto Australia's Most Wanted. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's it. No, there's a lot of the things because I've ended up making my own lye and stuff like that, and so breaking down chemicals on the sort of a base thing is something that you're always worrying when you're looking things up. But hell, for our stinger of chicken or egg, I looked up squirt sounds, and so I'm sure it looks very dirty on my my search history. But speaking of one of our games, why don't we go into a couple of games? We'll just say our last one from Ghoulfiends. What would horror movie villains do as their job in their downtime? I mean, we know Norman Bates runs a motel. Hannibal probably has his own restaurant. Yeah, it's a good question. Do you guys ever have a thought about what, might be the day job of a villain? Even if they are supernatural, if Jason or Freddy or Pennywise had to get
selling
some
ice cream or setting up concerts. The villain is just the neighbor next door.
It's true.
That's all they ever are.
Exactly.
I also like to think that their jobs may fuel their own kind of crazy serial killer tendencies. Like, anyone that works at Services New South Wales, that's got it pretty tough. Like,
yeah. That's it. Like it was in America, the postal workers thing. Yeah. Going postal. Yeah. I remember there was like a computer game called Postal.
That was so good, that game.
Yeah.
Oh, got me so quick.
That's it. I'd never played it, but I always saw the like image for it, and I was like, I think I really want to play that. It looks really cool. It looks like GTA, but on a different sort of first-person element.
Oh, Postal 2 is even amazing because you got to go and pick up. You've just been fired, so now you got to go and pick up your paycheck. So,
that's great. It's so cool. That's so good. I just got Phasmophobia, and so I'm still building up for that. Oh, and I got a trailer for Can I Close This and It Won't Destroy Everything? Whereas I'm going to see if I can go to it. It's called The Mortuary Assistant. So that's one that, I don't feel like I can play by myself.
Coming up.
No. I've seen a couple of beginning of playthroughs, and there was just something that it's not full on crazy graphics or anything, but it's enough to just unsettle you, and it's good enough to sort of just make you go, oh shit. But yeah, I think you have to cut open bodies and stuff like that, so I'm really keen to have a play with that. So I'm hoping that I might just do a random let's play under my tag of Dickhouse Plays. So spelt German, Dickhouse Plays. So yes.
as well.
Yeah. Jason runs a swimming school with his mother. Yes. Ghostface owns the last video store in existence. Yeah. Motel Hell is the home-style jerky. Pinhead is an acupuncturist. Great. That's awesome. Yes, fantastic. I think I will need you there, Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons, to play the mortuary assistant. And I don't know, maybe that might be something that over the holiday period we do, maybe sometime early January or something, because like I've stated on some of the previous shows before, December 16th will be our last show of the Quiz Arena Live this year. But we will be having a little bit of a change and mix-up because we're going to be doing the Expedition North Pole because it's Christmas time. And so we're going to have a little bit of a Christmas special on there that you guys can help us solve. What I've heard is a hard escape room. So we would love to have you guys back on board because I think the more help, the merrier. So we're going to be having 6 of us there trying to solve this thing. And I think Xander Klaus is a biochemical researcher up in the North Pole, and he's had a recent problems with his organisms. So we have to go up there and help him contain said organisms. I don't know if it's in his pants or not. But yeah, exactly. So last time we did, what was it, the detention, not detention, we didn't do that one. I'd love to do detention, but we did the underground murder mystery, and we solved that in enough time, so that was a lot of fun, and we had Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons on there this time, and hopefully we're going to have her on again. We're hopefully going to be having as well Rachel Wiggins, who is going to be the director of Wolf Creek 3 on board. So yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. And so yeah, stay tuned for that one. And we'll have links. I think the link's already up there, so you can put a reminder and ring that little bell up there. Every time I say that, I don't know if he's still on YouTube. There's an American guy. What's he called? Scott Kimball, I think. And he does car reviews. I'm not a car person at all, but his like car safety, not well, anything. It's like car repairs, like do this to your car, don't do this to your car. He's great, and tells you honestly this sort of stuff. But yeah, he always does this. Ring that bell, and he's gone up to like the Liberty Bell, you know, the one with the crack in it in America, and he rings that, and it just has this hilarious where he's frozen in frame doing this. And the bell is just ringing out afterwards, but it's hilarious. So that's what I'm seeing. It's snowing. I'm in a fur coat. I'm going, ring that bell, ding.
Yeah.
And that's So sorry, that's why I laugh. I feel like I have to explain, because like a quote from a certain musical. What musical is this quote from? I laugh because otherwise I would cry. Do you guys know? It's a musical question.
I know that one.
Mm.
No,
I
damn
know.
old age.
Is there an option to just keep saying musicals until I hit it, or like is there a number? that I
Yeah,
can't?
yeah. Like we'll be on a time limit because I'm sort of procrastinating until we're going to go into it because I just realised I asked a question and I shouldn't have. So yeah. Go
Like
for
I'm
it.
trying to think about the most bleak musicals, and it's like, you know, Sound of Music's pretty
Not My Life.
pretty intense. Nothing like Nazis to try to make you cry.
Yes, this one does have. I guess. Well, you mentioned Nazis. I guess it has. There is an element of that in this. That's a stretch, I guess. But then I guess
Producers?
no. Good call. Which was originally going to be called Springtime for Hitler, and then they said we can't market that. We can't put that on the billboard.
That is, here's another tangent within a tangent, and this is where we go into the multiverse. But
Not like
the
this, but yeah.
idea of like how they did that, only like just a decade after the Second World War or something, right? Like that.
That was like the 60s, I think, that came out.
Yeah, so
yeah, it would have been pretty fresh.
Super fresh.
Yeah.
Super fresh. And then they're just, it's wild. It's incredible. Yeah. All those musical lovers out there.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, a song from this musical that I'm looking for is Midnight Radio, one of my personal favorites. Love that song. What's it? Forgotten the question. Oh, so the quote is, "I laugh because otherwise I would cry." That's the quote from a musical. And it was in the 90s, I want to say. At least the movie of this was in the 90s. Was there any stars in it? I can't remember if there was any stars. I want to say Ruby Wax, but I'm wrong. The character is like Ruby Wax, but it's not. Yeah?
Is it Hedwig?
Hedwig and the Angry Inch, exactly. Yes.
There it is.
So Chinny gets a point.
Yeah, buddy.
Nice. Awesome.
Needed it.
Already.
Oh my god.
And we're back
I
to
was
being
about
equal.
to cry. That point got me from tears. That's amazing.
That's it, exactly. That could be like the saving grace for the whole game. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the answer was Hedwig and the Angry Inch. If you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend you seeing the original production of it. It has had a resurgence recently, or at least in the last, I want to say last 5 years, but probably let's say last 10 years because my memory's terrible. It was, what was it? Neil Patrick Harris was on stage with it. The guy who played Dexter was in it.
That's the only reason why I remembered it, because of his performance, and it's chef's kiss. Let's keep saying that tonight.
Exactly. Yes. No, I love it. It's been a running theme, the chef's kiss, which I must prefer. Very good. For those of you as well playing at home, I am still drinking, yes, and it is still the same bottle, the Picnic from Sam Neill's Winery, Two Paddocks Winery, and it's the Picnic Riesling, and it's lovely. It's a lovely drop, and it goes straight to your head. So it does everything you want it to do. Good, yes, I know, I do apologise, but let's go into it now. So let's bring up our spin wheel, and I will give you a point. So what was it that you said before? I'll give you an extra point if it lands on it. So, Mick, what did you say you wanted to land on?
I'm going to go chicken or egg.
Good, so if it lands on chicken or egg, you get a point. And if either of you land on bankrupt first, then yes, you'll get bankrupt. Actually, that's only for the first chance. I need to get a flipper. That's right, like a heads or tails. Otherwise, I don't know how we're going to do a thing.
Paper, scissors, rock.
Sorry?
Paper, scissors, rock.
I was thinking that, but then we've got to get you to sort of like say, like, you know that. I was just going to say, well, Sir Chinny's on at my left, and Woody, if you wouldn't mind, we'll go Sir Chinny. You're going to have our first spin of the wheel. So this is going to be our first spin of the wheel for Sir Chinny. And Woody, just before we did that, if it does land for our first spin on one, don't make it chicken or egg, but what's another one that you want it to land on? And I'll give you a point.
Monster.
Good monster mashups. Awesome. So remember those, and if it comes up to that, please do yell it out. Awesome stuff. Here we go with our Wheel of Fortunes. And don't forget, you can dance along at home because it's all polka music. Nicely done. Awesome. So now you guys get to choose. This is going to be a little bit fiddly because I have to now take it in and reset that. Good stuff. So, well, that go was for you, Mick. So, Mick, which game would you like to play?
All about consistency. So I'm going to go with chicken or egg.
Chicken or egg. Fantastic. I like it. Awesome stuff. And let me just reset this over in the side so that I can copy and paste it so that it's not going to cause me problems later on. Because you chose chicken or egg. Fantastic. We're going to close that down. I'm going to do this. And we're going to talk amongst ourselves whilst I do this. Chatter, chatter, chitter, chitter. Okay. Beautiful. Boom. And that can come up later. Fantastic. So we're going to go into a game of chicken or egg. Fantastic. You guys hopefully love it at home because I love it here. And yeah, it's just mainly because the stinger. So don't get too grossed out, but get ready to find out which came first, the chicken or the egg.
Start with an omelet or a ham. Oh, which come first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken or the egg?
Beautiful! So, as you can see, I'm taking this from the TV show of Talking About Your Generation from Channel 9, but also Channel 10. You'll see it popping up a little bit around there. But if I come back to our Quiz Arena screen, I forgot I've got to take down our spin wheel. And we're going to put up chicken or egg. Fantastic. So, there's going to be a choice on there. Now, this is one that's open for both of you. So, you have the chance of accruing a point by, you know, saying, like, you know, let's say you thought Mick was the one that came first. If, Woody, you agree with that, you can try and go on that, or you can go for the opposite and, you know, test your luck. So, it's up to you guys. It's up to whoever you want. Beautiful stuff. Let's go into chicken or egg for our first one. You guys can play at home. Which one came first? The Young and the Restless, or Days of Our Lives? Awesome. So we can have a bit of a chit-chat around this. Now, you guys au fait with your soap operas on daytime TV?
I am purely on the sense that whenever I had to get babysitted by my nan, that was my babysitting. So it'd be like, there you go, watch this for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
But that doesn't help what started first because, there's two ways that I'm going about this. One, what was the most sensible one to be able to be accepted early on? Because you know how sensitive everyone, I mean, they are right now, but also they really much were back then.
Oh, yeah.
But then also the photo that you just put up, and I'm trying to see who's the oldest cast, and I'm just going to, you know, throw it at the wall and see if it sticks because I think
well, if we're looking at it, yeah, because there's quite a few people there, and I'm just more procrastinating so that you can see it because I know that it only activates with sound. But yeah, it does seem like one is significantly older, but then again, the other one is shot from a lot further way back. And if we know anything about film, you definitely do that when you want to hide stuff. What about you, Woody? What are you thinking?
There you go.
I'm going Days of Our Lives.
You're going Days of Our Lives? Straight off the bat, is this something that you become from experience?
Sorry?
Is this like experience? You're like, you know, diehard fan?
Oh, mate, I've grown up with Days of Our Lives. I watched all the history on it. I saw the year it started. I'm making this up to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. I haven't got a clue. All I can hear is Young and the Restless in my head, so I'm going against it.
Nice, I like it. Good, awesome stuff. So yeah, Mick, what were you saying then?
Straight up, and well, this is perfect. And this wasn't even, I swear to God, for you guys playing at home, this was not rehearsed.
Yeah.
Young and the Restless. And my theory is coming from the fact that, yes, you're right about, the magic of film and the things that we can hide, but I can see so many more grey heads inside Young and the Restless, which means they found a safe job and they stuck with it. So I'm going to go Young and the Restless.
Awesome. Well, let's have a gander because the people out there at home, Phil Robinson says Days, 1965. Days of Our Lives by Ghoulfiends. Rhiannon Elizabeth Iron says Days of Our Lives. And let's find out the Days of Our Lives came first.
Oh, damn.
Oh, baby, that's what you get. That's what you get. It's the thought process. Come on, get into it.
Yes.
I'm so okay. I'm so okay that I didn't get that right, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fine.
That's it, exactly. It's not necessarily like a crucial information that, like, a ghost suddenly comes back and says, like, give me the password to your bank account or something. Like, that's not going to be information that you need to quickly bring up. But always interesting. Who knows? It could be a life or death situation. Someone like the Scream character could ring you up and say, which came first? Like, and hopefully they're singing that song and they have that gross stinger. Good stuff.
Significant difference, though. 65. Look at them go.
I know, right? You'd think they were quite close together, but
man, that's Cold War days.
Yeah. I even feel like, because there are a couple more grey heads in the Young and the Restless, but maybe it was people who worked on Days of Our Lives, and then they were like, we can't use you anymore. We need to get a younger cast, so they went off and did Young and Restless, and literally called it Young and the Restless too. Yeah, I guess that's a bit of irony there too. Like sands through the hourglass. Exactly, Phil Robinson. Beautiful stuff. Awesome. If Ghostface calls Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons, he'd be out triviaed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it. No one would have a chance. They need to make a comedy film about that, yeah. Where, like, the Scream victim just rings up someone who knows all of the trivia history and just, like, sends them insane or something. Or something better, because I'm stalling. Here we go, on to our next one. Which came first, Mount Rushmore Memorial or the Sydney Harbour Bridge? I was about to say in Australia. But, like, obviously the Mount Rushmore Memorial isn't in Australia. But yes, so all of you people out there may know. I have a kind of bias because I worked at Luna Park and I used to do the history tours. So I kind of had to know a little bit of this information. But does any of those things sort of stick out to you?
Actually, yes, because of where I work, I read all the signs under the Sydney Harbour Bridge every day, and I watched the documentary on Mount Rushmore about 3 weeks ago.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So can I wait for Woody to answer and then just see what happens?
Yeah, it's up to him, I guess, whether or not he does now. Beautiful. Awesome. Well, what would you be saying then, Woody, off that educated opinion?
I haven't got a clue.
Nice.
The best part about being an actor is trying to pull off faking your way through.
That's it. Exactly.
The bridge is in 19... what was it?
30s,
1918 post. We've got the Sydney Harbour battleship, which is bolted to the front of the harbour under the bridge.
Oh, nice.
So it's the World War II ship, 1940s, Mount Rushmore.
So you're going to say Mount Rushmore first?
I'm going to swing that way, yeah.
Nice, awesome. Mick, what would you be saying?
I'm going to go with the Harbour Bridge just because, even if I'm wrong, I'm right. You know what I mean? Being in Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. People out there are saying, Miffmax says you'd think Mount Rushmore, which sounds like he knows the answer, but he's too smart to put his money down just yet. We've got Rhiannon Elizabeth Iron saying Sydney Harbour Bridge. Oh, and then Miffmax coming straight back in by saying that's how they trick you. Still not answering. I love it. Phil Robinson saying Sydney, I think, and Ghoulfiend saying Mount Rushmore took 14 years to build and was completed in 1941. We vote Sydney. Awesome. Well, let's go back and find out. Mount Rushmore is unfinished. Very cool. And I'll have a follow-up question about the pillars as well after this. But which came first? We have the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Nicely done.
Yes, I lost. Woo!
Yes. Nice stuff. Awesome stuff.
I'd like to thank my sponsors.
Yes.
Neon Signs.
Yes. Now, who got that one right? Was that...
That was Mick.
Oh, nice. Sweet. I did the wrong thing. There we go. Bam. Nicely done. It was your reaction that sort of made me go, oh, it must be that. Perfect.
No.
Yeah. Well, because what I was going to say was, as well, with the Sydney Harbour Bridge, it's one of the unique architectural designs because it's actually gravity that's keeping it up. it's like literally weighed in on itself so that it's like falling is the thing that's actually keeping it upright. And the pillars on the side are completely like for show. That you could remove those and structurally it would still be completely sound. So yeah, but the artist or the architect, I'm not sure, both, when they were building it, said no, they have to be there. And I think that anyone, if you look at the Harbour Bridge, if you were to remove those, it just wouldn't have the same beauty, I don't think, to it. And there are other places around the world that use the similar design of this kind of bridge in it. But yeah, quite unique. And very, very well done. Nice! Awesome. Because, of course, Luna Park opened in 1935, which is 3 years after that. At the side of Luna Park was, it was a tram depot, it was a rail depot, and that was mainly because it had sandstone, which they were cutting out of the side of the walls. They still have the tunnels in there as well, which they keep a lot of the gases and stuff like that. That are going to go blowy. But during the time of war, that was one of the areas that they were going to use as an air raid shelter, just like the same as they were going to do, actually, and they redesigned the St. James Street tunnels about. Beautiful stuff. What is it? I'll take that down and say what you said. Rihanna Elizabeth Eyes are girlfriends making bliss. Stop making bliss. They don't need it. It would be nice if they removed all the cars from the bridge. Then maybe I'd feel safer driving across it. Yeah. Kate from Girlfriends, exactly. Or the other thing is, what was it? They used to do a morning on the bridge or a picnic on the bridge. They used to put grass all over the bridge and have a morning tea on it. I don't know how.
Was that the Great Morning Tea?
I think it was the Great. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
I think it was the Great Morning Tea. Yeah, and it was really, really awesome. At least to see, and it was surreal because you knew you were on a bridge and it was all real grass and everything like that. It was really, really cool. It'd be great if they did it again, but I can't imagine that it would be a good thing for Sydney. Like, you're shutting down this major artery, and I don't know, but you know, all the power to them. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, awesome. Yes, Rhiannon says she needs to come to Sydney now. Exactly, yeah. And with this weather, I mean, we've got monsoon season here and there, so who knows? Could be crazy. Our next one, which came first in the film, The Scarecrow or The Tin Man? So, of course, what film are we talking about, guys?
It.
Yes, It. The remake with Skarsgård and the boys from the Stranger Things franchise.
Look, don't at me. I feel like that could trigger some people. It's clearly Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Do say if you think you got triggered, yeah.
I think that's when you and I maybe first met, Richard. Like, obviously we did theatre sports together, but then the first musical I ever did was The Wiz, which I know is not Wizard of Oz, but like, you know, version of.
Yeah.
Holy damn, my brain is working hard.
Yeah. No, of course, because I was quite astonished when I found the film of The Wiz was directed by Joel Schumacher. Schumacher, whatever. Yeah, the same guy who did Batman Forever. And that. Yeah, and apparently changed it very much because it was pretty much the exact same story as the Wizard of Oz that we know, but it just had an African American female lead and leads in it. But it was it was the same girl from Kansas, I think it was, at least the original source material from my guessing. Beautiful. But from that, you know The Wiz, and I'm sure it would probably be the same in The Wiz as it would be for Wizard of Oz. Of course, the Scarecrow in The Wiz was played by
Michael Jackson.
Yes, Michael Jackson. Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah,
awesome. And I'm going to quickly Google who the Tin Man was.
Are we ready for us to throw down who we think it is?
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's the Scarecrow, because I'm also thinking like creatively. She goes from the town. She's got to walk through, the fields to try to get towards the darker place. Scarecrow, that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah,
I think that's right. But yes, I'm gonna go there.
Nipsey Russell played the Tin Man in The Wiz in 1978. I want to get that right because Tin Man's always been one of my favorite characters in that show. And I think it's mainly because of Jack Haley's performance, who, of course, played the Tin Man in the original version. Awesome. So which one were you saying, sorry?
I'm going with Scarecrow.
You're going with Scarecrow. Awesome. So which one are you going to go with, Woody?
That's the direction I'm going as well this time, Scarecrow.
Both going with Scarecrow. Nice. Well, let's check out, because the people out there are all saying Scarecrow. We don't speak of the Schumacher and the Batman universe. Yeah. Yeah, no, I loved it. Someone brought up the idea of saying you don't compare Adam West and Michael Keaton, and I like that sort of like idea. I kind of do that sort of thing in my mind though. I'll put like cross universes in there because again, Uncle Grandpa, I think I've yet to see a creature or a god or anything in any universe that I think could beat Uncle Grandpa. But yeah, type in the comments below or down below after this if you think that there would be a character in any mythology that you think could take on Uncle Grandpa. Good morning. Beautiful. So both going. Sorry.
Kratos.
Kratos. Oh, I have to. What's that from? What's Kratos from?
Kratos is from God of War.
Oh, Kratos from God of War. Okay, sweet. I haven't played that game and I haven't looked into that, but it has been another game that I've always wanted to do, like the Prince of Persia games. So good. I love those games. Oh, then they made the film and they fucked up the story.
Oh God, I stopped watching it immediately. I'm like, nah, I'm out. So,
yeah. That's it, exactly. Yeah. They had it perfect in the game. They just needed to translate that game story to the screen story. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back into it. Chicken or egg? Let's find out which came first. You're right at 32 minutes and 47 seconds. Both of you get a point. And of course, the Tin Man came at 38 minutes and 56 seconds. Nicely done. Awesome. So yeah, you know your stuff. Beautiful work. Great stuff. Well, let's move on without any ado. Of course, Gulfiends is helping out by saying Nipsey Russell was the Tin Man in The Wiz. Thank you so much for adding that as well. Which came first, Human Nature or the Backstreet Boys? For all of you people out there at home who love your boys bands, you can get an eyeful. So yeah, these two bands, I know of them. I feel like there's songs that, when you say, oh, this is their song, you go, oh, I had no idea that was also them. But, yeah, any of these stick out in your minds? Which you would be thinking which came first?
Human Nature.
You'd be saying Human Nature? Nice. Awesome.
Are you throwing that out because of the instantaneous reply from Rhiannon?
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to figure out how you got there. Because I'm like...
The reason is... they actually had a thing, and some friends of mine were having lunch out in Sydney, and they were here a couple of months back.
Oh, wow.
So they were talking about how one of the members was ending and their history of where they started, and they passed that information through. And I was like, Backstreet Boys. Yeah, the Backstreet Boys.
Nice.
I'll stick with Human Nature.
Damn.
Cool.
Because
Awesome.
I'm also thinking, and look, I know that you're throwing the answers out there, kids, but also, as we know, you could be flipping it on my head.
Am I?
Does Human Nature exist without the concept of a boy band, and Backstreet Boys is one of the penultimate? Like,
Oh no, are you there?
Formed in 93. Okay, none of this matters. I'm going with Human Nature because of what you just said.
Nice. So does that mean you're both going for Human Nature, or did you flip it on the last second, Woody, and say Backstreet Boys?
Oh no, I said, oh my God, someone's calling me, and the whole thing muted out. I'm staying with Human Nature.
Okay, nice. So both going for Human Nature. Awesome. The people out there are, say, Human Nature, 1989. Gulfiends wants to say Backstreet Boys, but they formed in 1993. Nice. They seem like they know their stuff, so let's find out. It was Human Nature came first, so both of you get a point.
That's incredible. Like, let's just think about that for a moment. Like, Human Nature in Australia decided that they'll be like, hey, let's just do some moves and sing some falsettos and see what happens.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right?
89. What a time.
I guess that's why they kind of did that rebrand in the late 90s, I think it was, where they sort of started doing Motown stuff. And because aren't they, I feel like they're in the Las Vegas circuit. Like, they're those sort of they got into a constant gig.
Yeah, but we don't have Las Vegas, and so
we have Bris Vegas.
We have RSLs.
We have the Rudy Gill RSL.
Yeah.
No, but even still, I've heard of like I don't know if Jupiter's is still a thing, but they had like a running show, at least with a lot of my circus friends and stuff.
Oh wow, yeah.
I mean, Spiegel Tent in Melbourne.
Absolutely, the most like. I have so much respect for Human Nature because they just evolve so well, and they still like objectively beautiful voices. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you cry, always gets me. What were you saying, Woody? Sorry.
one of the rumors before they became what they were a metal band.
Really?
I heard that not too long ago, so I really want to look into it. But if that's true, human nature started in metal.
That makes so much sense because, yeah, look at the guy with the goatee. I always imagined him as a heavy metal like singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also,
But I heard it, so it could be a solid rumor or rumor.
yeah. All right, bruh. Well, it shows their versatility.
My mum's a nurse, and she graduated like late 80s, and the Cockroaches played at their graduation party, and the Cockroaches turned into the Wiggles.
Of course, I was about to say the name rings a bell. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. Apparently they're going to be doing I heard somewhere that they're like reforming again. They're doing a show, and it's just like the guy who's the main, the yellow Wiggle, the original yellow Wiggle, like shouldn't do any on stage stuff because he's had multiple heart condition issues, and one of them actually happened at the end of one of his last performances where his mic was still on, and it was like, yeah, he shouldn't, just for health reasons. I think everyone understands that as cool as it would be to have him on stage, and we would love him there, we would rather have him living, you know. So yeah, but that's, how cool is that? I mean, like in terms of hitting onto a good thing, look at the Wiggles and what they've done. I mean, it's insane.
Maybe they can do like a 2-pack version of like a hologram, and then just have the yellow just float around. Yeah.
Yeah. Or motion tracking where, yeah, they face replace something onto a person who's running around. Like, Disney's got that stuff down. Yeah, awesome stuff. So let's go into our next one. Which came first, Google or eBay? Ooh, a technical question for all of you technical people out there.
Very similar coloring. That's interesting.
Well, have either of you guys ever listened to any lectures or done any sort of marketing? You know how they talk about, like, you know, colors, and McDonald's is yellow and red because it denotes hunger and not passion, but kind of passion, like, you know, urgency, like, you know, as in activity, you want to do it. So yeah, like the blue and red, I think, do certain other things too. That's why, like, the Superman symbol and stuff like that, the flags a lot of the time denote their sort of properties. But yeah, I think a certain psychology, especially with red and yellow together, and so I think that's part of, like, at least what they might have been thinking about. But either of those come to mind for you? Anyone stick out, or?
I just want to say Google.
Yeah.
I just old text, like very old text from, oh god, it feels like 200 years ago.
Yeah.
But,
Do you go serif or sans serif with the font, I guess?
Yeah. I'll go with Google. Just, it feels right. I can still see the small icon and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, true.
It's just
Awesome. So you're gonna say Google? Awesome. What about you, Mick?
I'm gonna go with eBay because I remember the time of Yahoo being like the main search engine.
That's it.
And,
Same.
like, I feel like
Ask
Google
Jeeves.
was just like, Ask Jeeves, all that fun, stupid stuff where you had to wait for 20 minutes to be able to get the answer.
Yeah.
But then eBay, I just feel like, was the OG that was just there ready to go from the start. And also, why not? So
Why not?
eBay.
Exactly. Good. Awesome. So Woody's going Google and Mick's going eBay. Let's find out which came first. It was eBay with 1995.
Man.
So Mick, you got that point, didn't you? Yes.
What a wild time for the internet. I don't know if any of our viewers are like, remember that, but like, holy shit. The 90s. What a time.
Yeah. I think that was like the last days of MS-DOS. Sort of, at least I remember when I was using computers, that you use MS-DOS to get into the Windows program, and then from that you'd be able to do whatever. Or before that, I think it was just sort of some menu that was set up onto it, but you could play the games like Duke Nukem 2 and Word Search, Word Rescue. That was it. It was a kids game, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah.
And they had meanings and points to them back then. Like, hey, we have to have all the boxes ticked.
That's it. It's still a lot of fun because the principles had to be, as you said, simple, but finite in their execution. So that's always a lot of fun there too. Beautiful stuff. So people out there playing along and getting it right or wrong. Awesome. Beautiful stuff. Awesome. Yes, back in the olden days. Now, I think we have one more. We should have about 5, but let's go back into it. I think we have one more for our chicken or egg. No, we don't. Unfortunately not. I got it wrong, but that, of course, was the chicken or the egg. So, good work for you guys. And if we check our scores, we've got Woody's here on 4 points, and at Sir Chinny, we've got 5 points. So, good stuff. You're in the lead. Nicely done. It's going well so far, and we're going to take down chicken or egg. Good stuff. And we're going to bring that wheel back up because we're probably going to go straight back into that wheel. Now, this is the point where in the show where you don't want it to land on bankrupt, because of course you land on bankrupt and they all go away. They all disappears, and you don't want them to disappear, because then you'll be out in the cold in the rain, and that's what's outside at the moment. Anything you want to add before we move on?
Having a great time. Thanks for having me.
That's it. Yeah, I've gotten to doing that whenever there's like a premiere or a live video that I'm watching on YouTube. I'll just do the GLHF. That's good luck. Have fun. That's good fun. Max says, I'm surprised how recent a lot of things are, honestly. I feel like YouTube has always been a thing since forever, but it was only in 2005. So true, so true. I'm still in the world where 2000 was like only last year in my head just because it was a good time. After this, we're going to boot up Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Yes. Did you guys ever play that?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I know, right?
The amount of times I did nothing at school and played that game.
Exactly.
Yep.
That and SimCity. First SimCity. Yeah. So good.
I think that, nothing against public education, but all my history came from Age of Empires.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Civilization. Civilization series. Mm.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah, that's so true. And only when I was an adult, it took me to realize that, No,
Yeah.
but to go, okay, these aren't just campaigns. They're going, okay, from a technical perspective, we want you to learn how to use the game or whatever, and we'll roughly put in stuff there. Or it's actually like the campaign, and the tactics that they used.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And I also had a bit of a skewed idea. Maybe that's the globalist in me thinking, oh, well, Genghis Khan and the Aztecs, they always fought against each other. Of course they did.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I do love that. Yeah, the expansion of what the world you could see. And that's why I love in Civilization too, that when you do the fog of war stuff, it's a completely different world. But man, that can tax your computer. I remember the rounds that I would get to where you have just way too many cities and stuff like that, and other people against you, and it's just everybody else's go is taking half an hour, so you're better off doing your one go than walking away and coming back after all these people had their goes. Beautiful stuff. Well, let's go in there because we've already got people. Gulfiends seems very adamant about bankrupt because this time it's up to Woody. So if Woody lands in it, that means Woody's going to get bankrupt.
Bring it on.
I know, right? Yeah. This is Woody's spin, so that's what's going to happen there. We've got Spin Again by K9. Yes, love to see it. Still have Nightmares of Data Set loading for an hour, and then error reports. Oh, I know, right? Or just the dial-up and that whole loading bar thing of web pages. The Oregon Trail was my game in school. Oh, the Oregon Trail. I don't know that one. Is that like a mystery sort of click adventure sort of game? Hoping. Phil Robertson said he learnt history through Doctor Who. Another awesome thing. Luckily now we've got, a shout out to Horrible Histories. I know that might be now a little bit dated, but when I heard about that, I thought that was a fantastic show because it's that silliness that's allowing kids to be, frivolous in their learning, and I think that's an important thing, especially when you're talking about plagues or natural disasters where there's lots of life or hard things that you need to be able to see a perspective of, and joking about it is an area that at least it allows you to continue the conversation. Samurai and cowboys existed simultaneous. Think about that. I know, right? Again, it's just that sort of thing of traveling, because even as we were saying before, I loved the history of the Gosford glyphs, the carry-on glyphs, which are said to be carvings by the two sons of Khufu. Khufu was the one who built the largest pyramid in Giza, and is reported to have also built the Sphinx, even though it's most likely he just repaired it, because the geological dating of the sand on the walls of that say that it's a lot older. Probably, I think it was 2,000 or 4,000 years older. I don't know. That's a different discussion. But it means that the Egyptians would have had to have travelled in the best ships that they had, which were really glorified canoes, all the way, and they didn't land on the west coast of Australia. They landed on the east coast of Australia, and then they went so far inland that they ended up getting up onto a hill. It's highly improbable, but is in a very interesting story. But that's why I wanted to point out the indigenous rock the paintings that are around there from the indigenous Australians, because those we know are real and are actually dated from thousands and thousands of years ago, and it's just around the corner. But again, if you go there, it has this beautiful myth sort of area around it too. So yeah, awesome. But like I was saying then, it's just that sort of thing of going, the reach would be unlikely that they would get there. Also, when you're looking at trade, the trade has no real reason. There was 1,000-year-old coins that have been found in Darwin, but not because those people have literally brought them to this area, because they've most likely been traded with the island people, the indigenous island people there, which we know that the Asiatic people were trading with the indigenous up the top there about 40,000 years ago, or 60,000 years ago. I think they've got that wrong. Anyway, a lot of a side tangent there, but always fun. Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons said that she learned history from Caligula. Scrotum! Exactly. It's the password, at least. That's probably what this week's winner's going to have to type underneath. Because last week, what was it? We made Phil Robinson write in fish sticks. Which was because we were talking about fish sticks, and I wanted to clarify that it was fish sticks and not fish dicks, which of course the Kanye joke from South Park was another one that was in there, so I'm so glad he did. It's very cheeky, so I was stoked. Yes, the Oregon Trail was an educational game following the trail across America. Cool, awesome, so similar to that sort of Carmen Sandiego sort of thing. K9 says they read books because they're old. Yeah, I know, right? K9 also says, I read books too. Jules from Gulfines. Sorry, you can understand that, and if not, read it yourself. Myth Max says, I learned history from other people talking about where they learned history from. Yeah, sweet. What I love about that kind of way of learning, honestly, Myth Max, is the ability to fact check them. And I always love someone who, if they're doing that, having a lecture, they should encourage the ability to fact check, like we do in this show, or at least we want to promote, because it's more important that you guys and I are on a same page if there's important information to be had. And every 7 years, our understanding will modify, and we'll get better understanding of it. Or information might change. Our understanding of that information might change. So it is important for us to keep on our toes and to get rid of the stigma that an audit is a problem. Yeah? It's sort of...
I was just testing everyone earlier when I said Jason. Exactly. It's important to know what's going on here. I also didn't want to offend the Michaels in the group, so...
That's exactly true, yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard with so many Michaels around. Beautiful stuff. So let's go into it for a next spin of that wheel. Awesome stuff. So, yes. I'll give you another point, too. If you want to choose one, if you landed it, I'll give you a point. Which one do you want to land on, Mick?
This one's Michael's, I think. Oh, is this just in case?
Yeah, both of you can choose one.
Ooh. You go first, Michael, and you say yours, and then I'll say mine, so I don't double up on yours.
So, Woody, which one are you going to land
on? We'll go with viewer's choice.
You want to land on viewer's choice? Nicely done. Awesome. So you get a point if you land on that one. And, of course, a bankrupt will take away all the points. Michael, which one would you want? Michael,
I'll go with the Dice 20.
Nice, you want D20? Awesome. I hope it lands on that one too. I'm excited for it. Awesome. So remember those choices, because I can't remember, and I've been drinking too much of this beautiful 2-paddock wine. So let's give it a spin. I, of course, want it to land on spin again. Here we go. Nice. So it's a game of monster mashups. Unfortunately, no one chose that one, but at least you didn't land on bankrupt. So very, very well done there. Awesome stuff. That's good. So we're going to go into a game of movie mashups. Just before we do that, I'm going to fix up our screen so that I don't have to think about it in a second. Good stuff. So yeah, monster mashups is going to be a lot of fun. I know people out there were looking forward to it, and we're going to bring that up in our background. And of course, it's all of these images are done by Kick Punch. Kick Punch SE. You can find his website out there. Kick Punch .se. Beautiful stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's another time for another game of another monster mashups. So get ready to dance along to that stinger out there at home. Whee!
The mash, it's how the monster mash. The monster mash, when it's a graveyard smash. It's how the mash, it caught all in the flash. It's how the mash, it's how the monster mash.
Great stuff. So here we are in our game of monster mashups. So in just a second, I'm going to be bringing up an image. You're only going to see the bottom part of this poster, and it's going to be for, let me just go in there and find out because I've got them all written down. This first one is going to be for 3 points, okay? I'm going to bring it up, and I think you guys are probably going to get it quite quickly, so I just want to explain it before we do that. At the end of which, I'm going to expand the whole image so you get to see the title and everything. And, yeah, so there's going to be 3 points if you can mention the film poster. So the original film poster that's been modified. Cool? Awesome. And then there's going to be characters from a different subject matter. Not necessarily exclusively Disney. I know it has been Disney in the past, but now it's opened up into a lot of different things. I think most of them are cartoons, though. I think all of them are cartoons. So, yes, a lot of points to be had. So, if you call out the name of the characters, there's 1 point each for the character and that other film. But for the overall movie poster, which you'll get a grasp of, you'll be able to get 3 points, or 2 points, or 1 point, depending on which gradient you say the name. Awesome stuff. So here we go into our game of monster mashups as we bring up our first movie poster. So for 3 points, what's the movie?
It's Squanchy.
It's Squanch.
Nice. So who was that? Was that Woody? Who said Squanchy?
Oh, Woody said it first, yeah.
Woody said it first. You got a point for Squanchy. Because that's a character that's up there. I feel like I need to have background music in this.
Yeah, something more inviting, like, I don't know, death metal.
A little bit more bitey-like.
I've got nothing. I can just see Squanchy.
Nice. Good. So this is for 3 points. So you can have a random guess at what you think the film could be.
Bigfoot.
Sorry.
Bigfoot.
One more time.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yeah, you said Bigfoot, as in like the monster walking through the bush. Is that a film?
No.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look that up now. So yeah, well, it's not Bigfoot.
Oh well.
No, Mick, do you want to have a free go?
Can I? Okay, so there's bubbles floating around him, and we're looking at monsters. Is this something to do with piranhas?
No.
Piranhas 3D. Damn.
No, that was a very good choice. Like close though, but no. For now, for 2 points. Does that help at all?
Yeah, Jaws.
Awesome. Was that you, Mick?
Yeah.
Yes, nicely done.
Swim.
Nicely done. Now let's reset this image, and we're going to see if we can get the other 2 things that I want to get in this image. And we'll just make sure it's the right size of the screen. There we go. Ding. Good stuff. So who's the other character in there?
That's Tammy.
It is Tammy. That was you, Mick, wasn't it?
Yes.
Nicely done. Awesome stuff.
Look at me now, Mum. This information matters.
That's it, exactly. And what is the other reference I'm looking for?
I can't see.
Other reference.
The other reference. So you mentioned Tammy and Squanchy.
Well, Rick and Morty. Is that what you mean?
Yes, that was you, Mick, too, wasn't it?
That's it.
Nicely
That's my
done.
world.
Awesome stuff. Good stuff. So yes, it was Squanchy in doing Jaws. So that's how the game is played, ladies and gentlemen. So even after our first one, Woody's here is on 5 points, and Sir Chinny is on 9 points. So yes, Good stuff. It's already kicked off. And out there, Miffed Max got it already with Jaws. So nicely done. And Gulfiends as well, saying that we're all going to lose this round because Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons already knows and can concede defeat. Beautiful stuff. Let's go into it for our next one for our movie mashups. And this one is going to be for 4 points.
And Futurama.
Awesome. Futurama was mentioned. That was Woody.
Bender.
Nice.
Yes.
Bender was mentioned by Mick. Nice.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Sorry, what did you say?
Both of us. Nah. All right, so you.
If you say both of us and I only heard Mick, then I'm only reporting it to one person.
Well, if we're honest, Woody said Futurama first, which gave me Bender. And so...
Yeah, that's how I thought it worked.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Good. Still not the film. Awesome.
I mean, I'd be so impressed if you got this, Woody, like, straight up from that. It's 2 little metal feet.
Oh, crap. It's not Metropolis, is it?
No, it's not. I'm going to go up to... Ding! 3 points.
Oh, shit. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Nicely done. Ding, ding, ding. 3 points to Woody. And who's the other character there?
It's Fry.
It is Fry. Nicely done. You get the points as I reset the image and we check out the whole movie poster. Nicely done.
That is cool.
That is very cool, isn't it? Done by Kick Punch SE. So yeah, you can check his stuff out after this. And again, the help out there. Miff Max, I love it. The Rocketeer reference. That's so cool. Yeah. Whereas what else we got? Cool. That's all. I saw the face before. Nicely done. Awesome. So we'll go into our next one for our monster mashups. This next one is for 5 points. So we'll take that one down. And for 5 points, what is the film? Sorry, what did you say?
Is that Brian's pause from Family Guy?
No, but good reference. That's awesome.
I can't get that out of my mind now.
Can't get it out of my mind. Yeah, Miff Max concurs with you. I think they agree. Just a little pause. Just a little pause down there. Always fans of big pauses, although the crowd doesn't know what to do, so you've got to fill it with tangents. Yeah. Oof. I love the oof. That's one of my favorite things about gaming. Oh, I love it. It goes off. Sweet. So that means I get to reset it. It sounds like there's a fire alarm, but that means that we're going up now to 4 points. Ding. 4 points.
Cat.
They do look like cats.
They're cats with their butts, you can tell.
They have butt cats, cat butts.
Cat butts.
Cat
Cat
butts.
butts. Is it? I'm just going to say what people are saying. Is it Aristocrats?
It is the Aristocrats for 4 points, wasn't it? 1,
Thank you,
2,
Miff Max.
3, 4. Nicely done. So now, okay, I'm going to bring it up. Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm going to... we have 5 seconds left for 4 points to get any other characters. Nice. I just discovered this timer thing, so I'm liking that. So I'm going to take it up to here, and I'm going to say Aristocrats was... Wait, not 4 points. 1, 2, 3. You got 1 point because Aristocrats was the film I wanted, but not the main film poster that this is based off. So those are Aristocrats. Sorry, Aristocats. You can name them each individually as well, but there is a film poster that they are reenacting, and it is not the Aristocats. So you still have 3 points that you can get. You can also get 3 points by naming each of those 3. And people in the comments below, if you do know them, look them up. I did. I have them written down here.
Well, is the white one Marie? I know that.
Nicely done. You got a point.
I don't know. Is there a French name for one of them?
Yes.
Pretty sure no. Toulouse.
Toulouse. Yeah.
Is that right?
Toulouse. Yeah. Like Toulouse-Lautrec. Yep. He is the Oh, that's time up. Reset that. Beautiful stuff. And we now go to... Oh, this is to 2 points, isn't it? Ding. 2 points. I know, how cool. Sorry, so Toulouse is the ginger cat there. Interestingly enough, though, ginger cats are usually male, and part of the reason of the striations in the fur of animals, like the you know how ginger cats will have that sort of pattern that goes through them and stuff like this, similar in the same way that zebras are like fingerprints. It's now I need to. I would want to have the paper in front of me. I'm also going to start the timer again. It denotes your DNA, and I want to say it's either male or female that denotes what kind of pattern that is. And because it's ginger and it came up in my mind, I want to say it's male. So the more male like has this sort of pattern in them, and it's a sort of interesting pattern. But ginger cats are usually male, is another thing. And mutt animals, whether it be dogs or cats, are usually the longest surviving animals. You don't want to get pure breeds because those have been bred in a certain way that their palates are all fucked up. And there we go, I reset it again. And so now for 1 point, I'm going to reset it and see if you guys know what it could possibly be. I'm not going to reset it so far that we get the movie title, but has anybody else out there in the comments said what they think it could be? We're also looking for that other cat's name, the middle cat's name for unos point. No, I'm glad that you got Toulouse. I mean, that was and Marie. That's amazing.
The reason why is because my partner loves this film and like just names shit after that all the time.
Yeah.
Because Marie should not be a cool name, but then she just keeps like our fish is called Marie because of that.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's that sort of thing that like it's you want to have them in the room or you want to quickly yell, "What's this?"
I know.
I wouldn't be against it. Like we had Josephine Emmett and Shane Emmett on last week, and so they had a lot of help and stuff like that, and so I greatly encourage it. I kind of want to have an episode where we have a grandparent on so that I can make everything about that grandparent's age, period, when they would know everything, just so nobody else can get points except them. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, so yes, you can take the comments down there for 1 point.
Insidious.
Insidious is correct. You got it. And what's the name of the cat in the middle?
I'll let Woody take that.
I haven't got a clue. I don't even have a clue.
Phil Robinson just mentioned it.
Can you see it written down?
No, I actually can't see any text. I can only see your faces.
I've sent you the link in the Zoom chat if you want to have a look at that.
No, I'd rather do it like this.
I like it. Nice. Awesome stuff. Beautiful. Let's get that back to its fit size. So there you have it. The classic tale of Insidious.
God.
Beautiful done.
Nailing this. Yeah, good that stuff is.
I know. They're so good, aren't they? They're brilliant. Good stuff. So we come back, and I think we have a couple more. Just while we got there, never would have gotten that. I know, right? It's so out of the bag. But kind of the reason that I like using other people's artwork or other people's stimulus is because certain things are already written down, and so I know that there's a contained environment. Speaking of which, our next one is for 5 points. Which do you think it could be?
The genie?
That is the genie. Yes.
Wow.
Was that Woody or Mick?
That was Mick.
That was Mick. Nicely done. You got that. Awesome.
And is the genie doing an alien pose?
No, not an alien pose. No.
Ooh, he's looking at that long jaw.
Yeah. This is a horror film as well. The horror film poster that we're looking for. Awesome. So you might be an easy chance to get points, Woody, if you want to just yell out any other characters you know from something that the genie might have been
in. The other movie? No.
No, unfortunately, the genie wasn't in a film called The Other Movie.
Batman.
That movie's amazing.
You say Batman?
There's Jasmine.
Yes.
Aladdin.
Yes.
The Sultan.
Not the Sultan. No.
Raja.
No.
Monkey, which is what's his name? Oh, what's the monkey's name?
Apu.
Apu.
Apu. No, it has to be the Pedlon. So for 4 points.
Oh, that looks like Jasmine in the mouth.
It does. It does look like Jasmine in the mouth. But you already said Jasmine, so you got that point.
Oh shit! What's all that stuff on his neck?
I know, right? So we're looking for a horror film reference, and also the other film that those two characters you mentioned are in.
Aladdin.
Yes. Another point to you. Good.
And-
But remember, you could get 4 points by saying the horror film.
The red looks like. Oh, I don't want to say the clue, but I kind of do.
The
He's
clue?
I'm sorry. What I'm thinking in my head is okay. The guy with the knives in the hands. Nightmare. Is
Yeah?
it Nightmare?
So you're going to say Nightmare on Elm Street?
Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah.
Nicely done, and that was for 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nicely done. You got it.
Oh
got it.
damn.
Nice. Let's transform that one. Reset the transform. And go back to fitting to screen. Nicely done. Good stuff. And did either of you mention Aladdin?
I did. Well, it's Aladdin. Like.
Yeah.
it's,
Good. I feel
they're
like I
all
gave you
on there.
that point before. Good stuff. Awesome stuff.
I have to mention, Woody, that I was speaking to a good friend about Nightmare last night. That's how that happened. And Aladdin is like the thing that I had on repeat as a kid. So
Yeah, true, yeah. Same.
I'm sorry, not very fair, because that's just built into my psyche.
That's all right. Feel free to be more aggressive. I love it. The aggressive part is part of the fun. Sorry?
Let's step it up. Joss, what's next? Come on.
Yeah,
Bring it
nice.
on.
Ready and raring for it. I love it. Here we go. So our next one and our last one for our movie mashups. Here we go. And this one, I think I'm right in saying 6 points.
Akira.
No. Not Akira.
Hmm.
Got to make sure I put on the timer for this one. Good. So 30 seconds to get this 6 points. This is one that there might be quite a few on. No, that's what I thought it was going to be. Honestly, Myth Max, I really thought it was going to be that one. It's not. It's not the thing either.
Mm.
Or at least that's not the poster that this is.
It's the face of. Oh, so it's always like a Disney character that's in there, right?
No, this one's not necessarily a Disney character, no. But this is definitely a popular thing. Okay, reset. We're going to reset. We're going to start again because now we're going to take it up to 5 points. Ding! 5 points. And what I'll do is I'm going to just move the logo. So there. Now, I'm not too sure who that person is, and I'm sure people who are fans of this certain thing will know, so it doesn't really matter if I put that over there. People out there are saying the blob, the thing, Reggie.
The thing.
Oh, there we go. Nice, so we're resetting that one, and now we're going to go up. This is working a lot quicker now we've got the timer going. So that was for 5 points. Bing, 4 points.
Are they friends?
They are friends.
Yay!
Nicely done.
I promise Rhiannon and I thought of that before you throw all that up. Do you want me to say all the names of the
Yep,
friends?
as a point for each of the names.
I'll say 3 and you can have 3 as well, Woody.
All right. I'll rename them. I'll give them new names.
Do you know? They're Joey, Rachel, Ross.
And Monica. Come on, Phoebe. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, and what about Gunther? Is Gunther in there?
Is
He's
that-
always been. You're also forgetting just Janice.
Yeah.
Who is that guy who's lying down who they're all feasting off?
That looks like Joey. Yeah.
I'm not too sure because because we've sort of what was that? I can't remember. We're up to 2 points, 3. I can't remember.
This is whack.
This is totally whack.
Not seen
Let's say it's up for 2 points. So that's why I thought Joey was up there. He's the one next to Phoebe, isn't he?
Human Centipede.
Oh, no, nice call, but no, I honestly wouldn't have known this one unless I had seen the picture. But you sort of see the picture and you go, oh, okay, I guess. Makes sense.
So, Woody, you can't see what people are writing, right?
Oh no, I can see your name. That's it.
Okay, because I think I could just say what's Elizabeth has given me all the clues, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
I've got so much advantage by being able to see
If
this.
you click the link in the chat, though, you can see the YouTube link, which on the side has all of the comments in real time too. Nice.
Oh no!
If it helps, I've never heard of it.
Ding. For
It's
1 point.
amazing poster.
What was that?
Have we named the person that they're chewing on?
I don't know who the person is they're chewing on. Because that's what when I looked through everyone who was there, I was like, I don't know who it could be. Like, it kind of to me looks like Bill Paxton. But I don't think Bill
Young
Paxton
Bill?
was in that, and I don't feel like it's right me just saying I think it is this person, so you can get a point if it's Bill Paxton. But if I was hoping that there was going to be a character that was a regular on Friends that maybe you guys would go, oh, that's must be this, because like Gunter when
You know who was Sexiest Man Alive? Paul Rudd. He was.
he was in it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was Phoebe's boyfriend for the last 2 seasons, I think.
So was what was it, Jon Favreau, wasn't it?
John Favreau was in it. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
was he?
yeah,
I thought, like, I mean, shit, they had everyone, didn't they? We could say like
yeah. True.
Brad Pitt or
Yeah,
you know.
that's it.
Which
All of
one?
the above. So we'll just leave that one out because I think there's plenty of points in there. So we reset it and we're going to bring it up. It was, of course, Tales from the Crypt. I say, of course. I also would have accepted Creepshow, just because I think it sort of like looks in that sort of vein.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. So I think we gave all the points that we had in that one out there to you guys for our Monster Mashups game, which leaves us with the points that Woody's here is on 13 points, and Michael Gosden Searchini 87 is on 25 points. Nicely done. Looks like we might actually be having to play a game of what is it, D20 after all, or even just a random 20 spin. Before I get to that, good stuff. Awesome work. Well, good work. Where are we at? We're at 9:37. Good. I think we have a little bit more time. We've got our wheel, which I don't think we need to spin any more of, unless you really want to. Otherwise, we're going to go into a game which we usually play each week, which is called it's called Venkman Burn in Hell. Of course, from the Ghostbusters franchise, based on ESP. So let's see if you guys have your ESP a channeling in our next game.
Here you have.
So I have in front of me some cards. Yeah, they are all got little symbols on them. So there is a star there. It was a black star. This is a black wavy lines. That is black cross. And that is a red cross. Then we've got a black box. Then we've got a black circle. And then we've got a green star. Cool? Awesome. So the way that this game works is I'm going to take off actually the Monster Mashups background, because that's not going to help us at all. It's just going to confuse us, or at least it's going to confuse me, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold up a card, and there's no gimmicks to this at all. I'm literally just going to choose one of these cards. I'm not even going to know which one it is, and then I'm going to hold it up, and I'm going to try and imagine what it is, communicate it to it any which way. I don't think I have any special powers or anything, but I'm interested to find out if there is that 15% of randomity that we could get it. And already we have had people, I think Canine got it twice in a row, 2 episodes in a row, and every episode I try to do it. So here we go, just off the screen. Let's give him a quick little shuffle, not doing anything tricksy, even though it's off the side of the screen. And I'm going to choose that one because it was in the middle, so let's find out. Everyone at home, feel free to play along. Where is it? There we are. It's here. So, yes, there we are. If you guys think you know what it is, tell me what it is. And tell you what, 2 points if you get it correct, and 2 points off if you get it incorrect for our players here, our guest players. For everybody at home, yeah, you just get to have bragging rights to your friends. So, which do you think it is? What do you think it is, Mick?
I think I'm confused about what I'm supposed to be saying to you. Like, what is behind that after what you've just showed me? And so, for instance, I would say the black waves.
Cool, yeah, exactly. So which of those cards that I held up do you think is the card that I'm holding up now? Because I'm only holding up
Well,
one.
now all I can think about is the black wave. So,
Cool,
black
you're going to say
wave.
black wavy lines? Awesome stuff, awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Woody?
Star.
You say star?
He's going to reference the old Ghostbuster answers, so let's just go with the star.
Nice, awesome, cool. And you will get double points if you get the color correct as well. Which also means double points off if you get it incorrect. So, or you can just say the shape. Awesome, nice. Out there as well, we have. I'll try and go to the top. Black Wavy Lines from Ghoulfiends, Kate from Ghoulfiends. Ghoulfiends Green Star from Jules. We have Square by Adam. We have Black Star by K9. We have Shadow says The Circle. K9 says Black Star. No, he wants to change the answer. Black Square is another one. And Phil Robinson says Cross. Good stuff. So you'll have to remind me when I reveal it because I can't remember which ones you were saying. But the answer is Black Box. So it's a black square. So did anyone get that here? Was that Mick or Woody? No? So 2 points off. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
This is intense.
I know, it's intense, isn't it? So, nicely done there. Who got a black box out there? I think we got a couple of them. We got, you know who you are. Miff Max. Yes, you got it. And I think there was another one I saw. No, I can't see it just now. But yes, if you do know you got it, congratulations. Nicely done. And again, there is the chance at getting, what is it? $100,000 from the Skeptical Society in Australia for proof of claims of anything supernatural or psychic. So yeah, you can do that there and you can find them on the website. So all you need to do is make a claim. They ask 3 things. What exactly is your claim? 2, under what conditions can you perform or demonstrate your claim? And 3, what success rate do you expect? So yeah, I'm really kind of keen to see how we can exploit these things. So I'm very keen, and I love haunted locations and just scoping it out and seeing the history about stuff, and I have yet to see something that has given me any impression to being able to repeat the circumstances. But once we can repeat them, then we can exploit them, just like we do electricity and penicillin. Because, yeah, we could benefit from it. Why not? Groovy.
Do you know about James Randi?
Yes, that is the same James Randi. Yep.
I've written a film based on this whole thing. It's amazing.
Awesome,
James
fantastic.
Randi, $1 million over in America he's got. Because he was like totally challenging, what's his name? John, moving on or passing on to John, what's that guy?
Yeah, John Edwards, wasn't it?
Edward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it,
Yeah.
I think it was John Edwards, yeah.
That's right.
Because I thought you were going to say Uri Geller, who bent spoons. Because I've got a spoon that was apparently bent by Uri Geller, who did it. But again, it's like I find the psychology behind magic, neurolinguistical programming, hypnotism, all of these things very, very interesting. Because like we were just talking about before, the idea of the invisible man cloak as a weapon or something that you know you can don on to do something, that premeditated idea, is something that I think is really interesting in people who exploit hypnotism. And in that vein, psychics and things like this, because as I said, I've yet to see anything that would convince me, but it doesn't mean that I am beyond. If we do get that evidence, then we should be able to exploit it just like we do everything. I think it's really, really intriguing. And since the death of James Randi, I think it has gone down to $100,000, but the James Randi Foundation is continuing to do that work, and it's amazing work that they do around there. And a beautiful man. Check out his specials, but I didn't know that Dick Smith was heavily involved in the debunking when he came out to Australia. So yeah, there's a great special. I think it's a 2-hour special I saw recently on YouTube, which you can find. And Dick Smith's so excited about it because they've got all of these experts who are scientific experts testing these water dowsing techniques. And again, it's something that in Australia, a lot of people got away with a lot of funding by like generations of dowsers of water to find oil or water in Australia. And it's Australia, there's a lot of aquifers, so pretty much almost anywhere where you drill down deep enough, you're going to find water. That's one of the old adages at the beach of, like, you know, in Australia, how do you find water? Well, it depends. There's always that redundancy that if you can dig really deep down, you'll always find clean and fresh water. I remember that bushwalking and stuff like that. Cool, awesome, it's fantastic. There's people who've been mentioning stuff up the side there, which I want to read out. God damn it, should have stayed with my original answer, says Adam. Nice, Max. Running on 2 out of 3 this. Nice, awesome, fantastic. The alcohol is kicking in hard. So handing the chat. I know, right? Every time I take a sip for the screen because I'm drinking an energy drink that I don't want to display, it's getting more, just like that, because I was not supposed to mention that on camera. But, Myth Max says, wish had alcohol kicked in. I'm sure that you could find something. What was it? We had Piort on once before, and we had like a 95% vodka, and it was like, wow, it burned everything. And whenever you're doing fire breathing, there's 2 methods really that you can safely do it. And that's use a hydrocarbon solvent, which is sort of like a kerosene that's kind of watered down, but you'll get lead poisoning regardless, however you do that. Or you use the highest concentration of alcohol that you can physically handle, because it will burn and callous the mouth, because the mouth is such a sensitive organ, which is a completely different area that I'd like to go off on, but it's because I've been drinking. I was about to go on about the soft organ gustatory system, which is really, really interesting. Anyway, Myth Max, it's highly overrated, he says, although it did help us a bit in our escape room adventures last night at Padlock Escape Rooms on the Gold Coast. Awesome, fantastic. We'd love to hear about your adventures out there, because especially those physical escape rooms would be something that I would love to get out there and to do like a little quick tour through, or like even a little like live stream where you help me get out of a thing. Or we're all Sydney based, something that we can get us out of the lurks of here and get us into a room where we have to try and work it out. I'm a big fan of the escape rooms that Mythbusters did. Something where you would have like base chemicals or alkalines, and you would have to, use certain things. You would have to pick the lock on the wall by making by making the little things out of the filament in the light, the old school light, like that sort of stuff. I think that would be really, really cool. But maybe asking too much for people. Anyway, games. Good. Awesome. Where were we up to? So we just did Venkman Burn in Hell, didn't we? We're about 10 minutes out. I kind of want to play... Actually, no, we'll do this after. We're going to do this after the tournament. We're going to do a quick, not a D20 because we haven't landed on it, and we only want to do it when we land on it because it's probably going to take a long time. But we are going to just, whoever is on the lowest score, if there's a large gap, we're going to roll the D20 and we're going to see if you could get 20 points. And if you land on 0, you lose all points. So we've done that once before, and I kind of like it because there's a lot of anticipation with it. So sweet. Then we'll be getting ready for our quiz, just to give you guys all some notice out there in the YouTuberverse so that you can get prepared for our quiz. I will get it lined up as well. Our questions tonight are by the illustrious Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons, who is going to be giving us some fantastic 10 rounds of multiple choice questions. And to play along, all you need is to have a Gmail account in which you can play along by subscribing and just typing the number to the corresponding answer in the side there. So it'll be either answer 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you just need to put in 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you are playing on Facebook, then you will have to put the number and the full text answer in after it, just because there is a spam bot thing that stops that from going through. There's like some sort of filter, which is weird. Of course, our prize tonight, you'll be competing for the Neon Sign Designs $30 online voucher, so you guys can get a fantastic little sign that lights up and does all that funky stuff. To play along at home, all you got to do is type in the chat on the side. If you are our winner, then you will see your name at the end in the leaderboard. Previous winners, last week's winner was Phil Robinson, and so I think they are into another area where you cannot win this week, just so that we can share the prizes around. Yes, there you are. Good stuff. Awesome. If you are our winner, please send us an email at rushcutterentertainment@gmail.com, and we will then give you a password, which I mentioned already, but I can't remember it for some reason. Drink responsibly. And then you'll have to put that password into the comments section underneath the live stream, and that's just something to vet our bot process, just to make sure that you aren't one of the body snatchers and that you are who you say you are. Once we see that you've written that password down in the comments underneath, we'll follow up with an email either giving you the connection to the website where you can use your voucher, the digital voucher itself, or if it's a physical prize, we'll be getting your address so that we can get it off to you. And any of the information that we collect is purely only in the way of getting that prize to you. This quiz as well is not affiliated with YouTube, and any questions, queries, or quandaries should all go through rushcutterentertainment@gmail.com. Prost! I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all of the spiel that I have to do. So hopefully you guys are pumped and ready for it.
Yeah. Always. I don't think there's a time that we're not.
That's it.
And well done on the spiel. Spiels are hard.
Thank you.
It's hard to make, like it's hard to do this. So well done.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you. I've kind of like getting to a point where I'm doing it off memory because it's a lot easier to to do multiple things at once, or at least whilst I'm doing that, as you saw, I set the thing up in the background. So at about a minute, we've got to do a little stinger, which leads us into the quiz. So yeah, if there's anything you want to mention in this next 30 seconds, go for it.
I really want to plug, and this is like the best version of nepotism that you'll see, but my partner is a comedian, and she's got a show on at the Laugh Out of Lockdown festival that's happening in Marrickville. It's at the Factory Theatre, and I'm pulling up the information now so I can say it correctly.
Yeah, send us a link into the Zoom chat, or even in the chat underneath, and I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, so it's happening just before Christmas, and it's a sketch comedy show called Cry Baby, and she has sold out this show multiple times at like Sydney Comedy Festival, Melbourne Comedy Festival, and she's doing a last hurrah at the Laugh Out of Lockdown Festival. And so
sweet, awesome, man. Yeah,
Friday,
definitely.
The 17th of December, and I'll put that in.
Yeah, put that link up in there because we'll definitely want to hear about that. Fantastic, guys. So make sure that you guys play along at home. Here we go. Great stuff. So here we go into our first question. 1 point on for correct answer, 1 point off for incorrect answer. Here we go. Who did Ben Stiller originally want to play the role of Tug Speedman in Tropic Thunder? 1. Tobey Maguire. 2. Russell Crowe. 3. Keanu Reeves. 4. Daniel Day-Lewis. Now, whilst we're going to give these guys, if you do know the answer, just hold off until we go to the next little screen you'll be able to see, just so that we give the audience a little bit of a chance to do it. Or you can help them out by, literally saying, I know it's this answer and I want you to get it. So, any answer coming to mind?
If I think the funniest answer would be I think the funniest is Russell.
Russell Crowe. Yeah, I totally agree. I could not see him as Tug Speedman. Yeah. No.
Like he'd just be so earnest, and so arrogant about it.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I kind of want to see Daniel Day-Lewis though in it. What about you, Woody? What are you thinking? Oh, I can't really hear you, Woody.
That's all right. I'm dying.
So. Can't hear you. Sorry, mate.
Oh no!
What did you say?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah? It's very muffled.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Awesome. I like it. Cool. Well, unfortunately, it was Keanu Reeves, so both of you lost a point. But that's all right. Which film was parodied in South Park's episode Fat Camp, Season 4, Episode 15? 1. The Parent Trap. 2. It Takes Two. 3. Heavyweights. 4. Camp Nowhere. Now, I only know one of these films, and that would be The Parent Trap, which is... Now, I know the original one with... Oh, my mum would kill me if I got this wrong. The girl who played Pollyanna. Hannah... I'll segue and go into this. What are you guys thinking?
I know this.
Awesome. What would you say?
Do I just go straight into it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Heavyweights.
You're going to say heavyweights? Nice. Awesome.
Okay.
What about you, Woody? No, something's wrong with the sound. I really can't hear you. Sorry, man. Hayley Mills, K9. That was right. That's what it was. Christopher Lloyd is incredible in Camp Nowhere. Now I have to see Camp Nowhere. Awesome. Heavyweights it was. Who said heavyweights? You said heavyweights, so you got a point. I couldn't hear you, Woody. Couldn't hear what your one was.
I got no idea what's going on. I'm just dying. It must be the storm.
No, like it's going in and out, and I think it's like a warbly thing. It's because I think you have an omnidirectional mic. Awesome. Next question we have in the live action Scooby-Doo movie 2002, what was the name of the ghost in the opening act? 1. The Creeper. 2. Space Ghost. 3. Minor 49er. 4. Lunar Ghost. Awesome. So, Scooby-Doo question. Does any of these come out and stick out to you, Woody? One? You're going to say one? Awesome, good. I like it. We've worked it out. Awesome. So you're going to say one? Awesome. What about you, Mick?
The Creeper. It seems like the most Scooby-Doo's answer.
Nice. So you're going to say one? Awesome. Both of you saying one? Nice. I like it.
Damn it, I want to say 4 now.
Everyone else there saying 4. The Lunar Ghost. Lunar, of course, coming from the moon.
Oh shit, she was in it.
Exactly, yeah, she was in it. So she'd probably know. So both of you going for the Creeper, which means both of you, because she wrote the quiz, must be wrong.
Both of us are successfully wrong.
Successfully wrong. I like the way of looking at it that way. Yeah. The output is positive yet negative. Lunar Ghost, and everyone got it. We got Gorfiend, Miffed Max, Phil, and Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons all got it. Nicely done. Oh, that's right. I can do this too. What happens if I click show? Yes, I can do that. Because if we go back into it, it says, yeah, I've got to remember that hint. Good. Our next question. Which spider-induced film was originally titled Iraq Attack? Let's see if I can take that away. There we go. 1. Itsy Bitsy. 2. Eight-Legged Freaks. 3. Big Ass Spider. 4. Arachnophobia. So which spider-induced film was originally titled Iraq Attack? 1. Itsy Bitsy. 2. Eight-Legged Freaks. 3. Big Ass Spider. 4. Arachnophobia. Any of you guys? What are you thinking? What do you think, Woody?
Number 2. Number 2.
Awesome. It sounds like you know it. You knew what it was. Awesome.
I love freaks.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, isn't it? And what about you, Mick?
I'm going to go 2.
You can go 2. Nice. Both of you sticking on to 2. I think that you might be right. I'm a huge fan of Arachnophobia. Have either of you guys seen that with Jeff Daniels?
No.
Really? Oh, it's great fun. It's an early 90s film.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a comedy horror. Like as in it's not horror, but it's like, the creepy real spiders also through it. They used a New Zealand species of spider for it, which is sort of like the brown recluse in America or our huntsman over here. Or at least that's what it looks like. Eight-Legged Freaks, correct, so you guys both got a point. Nicely done. That's the way. And yeah, and that's another silly film. I do love that, how it's just like, sort of silly and amongst it. Eight-Legged Freaks. Big Ass Spider, I'm hoping that's a real film. I want it to be. Big Ass Spider. Next question. Which 2015 movie was inspired by H. Rider Haggard's Lost Race Tales and The Virginian? 1. The Salt of the Earth. 2. The Revenant. 3. Mad Max Fury Road. 4. Bone Tomahawk. Nice. So, I've seen Mad Max Fury Road. I haven't seen The Revenant except for that one scene in The Revenant. Which is, I don't know, that like 10-minute long fight scene with the bear.
You ain't seen The Revenant?
I haven't seen it. No.
Oh, it's a journey.
That's why I haven't seen it. I need to allocate headspace for it. What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say 4.
You're gonna say 4. Awesome. And what about you, Woody?
I'm gonna have to ask Alexa on this one. Not sure.
Alexa, look up pornographic images. I did that once before, and that set someone's thing off. It was great.
Because it was already saved.
What did it say?
I'm gonna go random. The Revenant. No, The Revenant. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't read you again. But you're saying The Revenant, which was wrong. Awesome. What did you say, Mick?
Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk.
I did.
You did? Okay, yeah, nice.
Recording. Yeah.
Nice, sweet, awesome. Here we go. Which prop from the movie Aliens, 1986, is now exhibited in the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C.? Sorry about that. 1. Hick Tracker's watch. 2. Flamethrower. 3. Facehugger. 4. Egg. So like an alien egg. Yep. So which of the props from the movie Alien 1986 is now in the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C.? Hicks Tracker watch, the flamethrower, the facehugger, or the egg?
Can I just say it doesn't matter? Like, that's so awesome that the Smithsonian is exhibiting one of those things.
Exactly.
It feels like I have no idea, but I'm gonna say facehugger.
Nice. Facehugger. And what would you say, Woody?
Hipster's watch.
You gonna say the watch? Nice. So number 1. Cool. I like it. Yeah, this like for some reason I was imagining one of them was gonna be that big, like, oh, that was in Aliens. That was in the second one, wasn't it? Get away from her, you bitch. That thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that
Space
was cool.
forklift.
Space
And then
forklift.
later.
Yeah. Neither of you got a point for that one. I don't think. No one said egg. Nice. But everybody, all of our viewers, did Ghoulfiend, Rhiannon, Elizabeth Irons, Miffed Max, and Phil all got it right, with it being an egg. And gross and tactile. I love it. That's the wrong one. Which Tim Allen film was a remake of the French movie Little Indian Big City from 1994? 1. Who is Cletus Tout? 2. The Santa Claus. 3. Jungle to Jungle. 4. For Richer or Poorer. Nice.
Tim Allen.
I know, right? Tim Allen.
Thanks for that.
To Tim Allen and beyond.
Does anyone remember when Ricky Gervais introduced Tom Hanks and Tim Allen? And he was like, he's won all these Academy Awards and he's like loved. And then there's Tim Allen.
Yeah. Cool. Great. Awesome. What would you be thinking, Woody?
Number 4.
Number 4, For Richer or for Poorer. Nice.
Yeah.
It was the
I feel
Amish
like-
one, wasn't it? The
I feel
Amish
like
film,
so.
yeah, where they, him and Kirsty, was it Kirsty Alley? Wow.
What?
No,
Yeah.
I must be wrong in that. I don't know. What would you be saying, Nick?
I'm going to say 4 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, number 4. Awesome, both saying number 4. For some reason, I feel like it'd be Jungle to Jungle. Yes, I thought so. Nicely done. Awesome. So, point off for both of you. Oh, no. Jungle to Jungle being the correct answer. Ghoulfiends, Rhiannon, and Phil all got it correct. Myth Max, unfortunately, going for Richer for Poorer. Listening to our guests at home. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I like it. Throwing off the scent. Beautiful stuff. Well, what is it? We're now into our 8th question. What date did the diamond heist in A Fish Called Wanda from 1988 take place? 1. May the 9th. 2. May the 16th. 3. March the 8th. Or 4. March the 4th. Awesome question from an awesome film. Have you guys seen A Fish Called Wanda?
So
No.
long ago. So long ago.
Did you say no, Woody?
No.
Oh, you need to see it! And then follow it up quickly by Fierce Creatures.
After that film, I will not watch.
It's a film you will not watch, did you say?
No, I can't do it.
Can't do it. Nice. Oh, it sounds like I'm listening to it like this. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I'm sorry. But which one?
But no.
That worked really, really well. Which date was you going to say, Woody? You're going to say 1? Awesome, cool. Mick, what do you say?
That's for something different. I'm going to go 3. Why not?
Nice. 1 and 3. Nicely done. Awesome stuff. Let's find out. Should be ticking over any second. There we go. It's March the 4th.
Damn.
Nice. Nicely done. Good. Awesome. I'll bring that up there again so that you guys can see it. March the 4th as we go into our penultimate question. Our second last question. Because that's what penultimate means. Question number 9. Nolan North loaned his voice to play which Batman nemesis in the Arkham franchise? 1. Scarecrow. 2. Riddler. 3. Penguin. 4. Firefly. I just reading that out, I can't help but remember in the Batman Adam West TV series when the Penguin was so bad at throwing people off the scent by saying, "Oh, it was made out by to a P.N. Gwyn." I was just like, oh, and it's like a military submarine that this guy leased off the police. It's just weird. It's like a very convenient universe. But what about you guys? What would you be saying is the answer? You don't know?
idea. I'm going to go with... What did you just say? P. and Gwyn?
Yeah, P.N. Gwyn. But that was from the TV series.
Well, I'm going to go Penguin because you've just said it and now it's in my head and now I can't stop thinking about the Penguin. So here we are.
Nice. My favorite character was always the Riddler, so you could also always go going with your favorite as well. Woody, what would you be thinking?
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow. Awesome. So you're going 1? Awesome. Nicely done. Do you guys know Nolan North?
No.
No? Well, Mick, you got the point, so nicely done.
Damn.
Nicely
Thanks for
done.
putting that into my psyche.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it, and there we go. I feel like Nolan North, though, is a name that I've heard before, and I hazard to say maybe he's either, like, you know, the voice of, Transformers or something like that. Anyway, our last question. Which 2017 movie features the crazy credit of Broccoli Wrangler? 1. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. 2. Life. 3. Alien Covenant. 4. 47 meters down. I love these kind of questions because in Naked Gun, they would usually have in the credits recipes or random trivia questions or something like this so that you would keep you on the balls of your feet. I love it. Does this stick out to any of you guys? Because, like, you know, it's our last question. Go for it if you know it.
Broccoli doesn't exist in Pirates of the Caribbean is my vibe. Alien, probably not so much. You know, they got bigger fish to fry. Is Life, just to clarify, is Life the one, like the Jake Gyllenhaal one?
I'm assuming it's the Jake Gyllenhaal one, yeah, with Ryan Reynolds and whatnot. If not, whilst you have a think, what would you be thinking, Woody? Alien Covenant, awesome. So you're saying number 3? Cool, awesome. Mick, what were you saying?
I'm going to go for 4.
Nice, 4. 47 meters down. You'd be correct! It's like you've been reading the cheat sheet beforehand. Nicely done. So the answer was 47 meters down. Gulfiend, Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons, Miffed Max, and Phil Robinson all got it. Nicely done. Now I'm really hungry for broccoli. I'm going to see if there's a place that makes pasta open there because I really want some broccoli. Our winners was Gulfiends with 10 correct answers. All 10 correct. Nicely done. And coming up second, we have Miffed Max with 7 correct answers. Congratulations, guys. Really, really well done. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
And fantastic to see Gulfiend's got all 10 correct answers. So that is absolutely amazing. And really, really cool to see. So, Gulfiends, please send me an email at rushcutterentertainment@gmail.com. And we will then give you the password, which we know it's going to be like, but wait until you hear it from me, because who knows, I could change it because I've just released it up on the world. But you know what it's most likely going to be. And then you can jot that into the comments below. And freak everybody else out who hasn't seen Caligula. Speaking of which, I know that Rhiannon Elizabeth Irons and I were talking about off air, but yeah, Andy McDowell is on Cameo, so you can get a birthday message from Caligula, or from Alex from Clockwork Orange. I personally think that's a little bit cool. But yeah, fantastic work, so send us that email, and then we will be able to get you that voucher code straight to you so that you can use that on whatever sign you would like to make. So brilliantly done there, nicely stuff. And of course, if we look at our prizes, well, so far, what have we got? We've got 4 points for Woody's Here and 23 for Sir Chinny. So there is a chance that we might be able to accrue these points back. So let's give it a go, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we? Why don't we give it a go and give it a throw even? This is going to be for Woody's Here, and we're not going to classify that one because I clicked the wrong button. We're going to clear that. We're going to select our D20, and we're going to throw. So there's the chance here at you winning 20 points, and if it lands on 0, you go back to 0. So here we go. We're throwing that dice. You got an extra 4 points! Nicely done! Yay! So here we go, over to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, our final rounds ending off on 8 points with Woody's Here and 23 points for Sir Chinny 87, Mr. Mick Gosden. So nicely done there. Brilliantly done. Yay! Oh, he's tied the hair back now. Only now are you getting serious. I love it.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, you know, the mugginess from all the rain is just getting me into my serious mode.
Exactly, it's what we like to hear. Totally, 100%. Beautiful stuff. Well, before we do run off, I usually do a quick little teaser, if that's all right. If you'll indulge me, I'm going to try and keep it on to 2 minutes to try and tag on to the next thing, just so that we can have a little thing. So when I throw it to you guys, I'll ask you guys to say hello or something like that, and you can be loud and proud for a couple of seconds, or at least until your image comes up onto the thing. That'd be great. Let me just reset my back. Actually, no. Let's keep our prize winners up there, because that'll also let me know when we're doing it. Beautiful! So, ladies and gentlemen, if you join us every Thursday night at 7:30 here on YouTube, you get to play some fantastic prizes and join some fantastic guests, like Mick Gosden. Say hello, Mick!
Hello, the people in the background.
Yes, and all the people out there in the foreground as well, such as Woody, because Woody's here. Say hello, Woody!
Hello, I am here. How are you all?
Yes, we're all well and we're all jolly here at the Quiz Arena, and you could be here at the Quiz Arena as well as we spin the prize wheel and we play many games that you might want to play yourself. One of which might even be, who knows, you might have to go into a Spicks and Specs. You could have a good bit of fun with that game, which changes every time, but also other things that change all the time would be other games, some of which you may have seen before, which I'm trying to find the gosh darn stinger for, and it's not going to be an easy position, but it would be Brittany the Toxic Avenger. Fantastic! And so you should be here every Thursday at 7:30. See you then. Good stuff! That's a teaser. That was a bit of fun and hopefully good enjoyment times for you too. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Like Mick and Woody, I mean, I can't express my thanks enough to both of you for joining us on our little quiz here. And I'm sure that the audience as well has loved having you on here. So if there's anything that you would like to quickly mention just before we jump off, please feel free to plug it now, yeah.
Go for it, Mick. I will.
Well, obviously, Monster Fest. Please go down and see Stick. And, you know, if you don't even see Stick, just go look at all the other films. Like, go support people that you haven't heard the names of before. Like, there are so many great things that are going on. So please go do that. And also, as I mentioned, Chelsea Zeller in Cry Baby at the Laugh Out Loud Festival. The information should be in the chat and both chats, actually. So that's happening just before Christmas. It should be a good laugh before you have to go hang out with all your family and, you know, suffer through the eggnog.
Yes, eggnog. Perfect work. Awesome, fantastic. And whereabouts might we be seeing you around, Mr. Woody Woodhouse? I'm assuming on other fantastic commercials out there in the world on the TV and the normal networks.
Where am I at the moment? At the moment, I'm waiting to see if I'm going over to California to step as a mercenary in a TV show.
Very cool.
At the moment, it's all writing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Oh, great stuff. Well, fantastic. We'll definitely see you around there. And again, thank you guys so much. Our winner tonight, of course, was Sir Chinny, Mr. Michael Gosden. So share your slappy fingers and slappy hands towards him. And thank you everybody else as well out there in the chats. I cannot thank you guys enough for all of your amazing work. And I'm sure our players as well have appreciated all of the help that you've given them during the games. If you want to thank them as well, you're more than welcome.
Thanks for being here, guys. I really, really, really loved you guys giving me the answers to win this game. So thank you so much.
See?
Yeah, thanks for helping Mick out. And I'm glad I couldn't see the answers. At least we know what's what.
Yeah, that's it. See, the love is palpable. So thank you guys so much out there in the chats. And yeah, keep it chatting, spread it around, and let us all know, all of the people out there. And thank you once more to Woody and Mick. Thank you so much. We hope to see you around in the world. Keep up your amazing stuff, and we'll see you guys here each week. What's it? We're starting. I've got to go through and find out our outro. There it is. So yeah, we're here each week from 7:30 every Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel, and I'll make sure I click this. I've got to remember to go on to go on 3, but shoot on 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you all next time, next week even, here on the QUIZarena Live. Rock on and keep it real. And change it.
The sun never sets on those who ride into it.
We just gotta keep going.